Okay. Fuck. Okay,
Hey, you can't swear the first 60 seconds he goes live on YouTube.
Okay, we can just put it like the thing is, easiest thing. What's most likely is it ended up in one pile and no one knows who it is. It's it. Like no one has it. It's gone. Probably what happened.
Honestly,
because we know
most likely.
it's probably It's probably. I mean, didn't he unalive himself? Or this, yes, or yeah. Did all the horrible things you could think of, but whatever. I mean, you know who it was, right? So who cares?
But interesting, but it doesn't amount to anything.
Oh, because it was that one guy from that one place where he did all the bad stuff?
That reminds me of the one fucking post.
There's a lot of people out there that do bad
explaining explaining the entire plot of Kingdom Hearts, but like without dropping a single name. that was a good shit post.
Listen, if you spoil the entire plot line to Kingdom Hearts 1, you should be reported and sent to the authorities immediately, post-haste.
Yeah, but this one was set up so like you have no idea what's going on unless you know, because it's so vaguely written. It's like, okay, whatever.
What if they spoil Kingdom Hearts 2.5?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't give a rat's ass about it.
If okay, that
good would be good.
I don't know what happens in 3. I don't know what happens in 3, and I would like to know. So, again, court-martial.
Ash, no, that doesn't work.
You would not like.
You had plenty of time already,
like,
Ash.
No.
Your spoiler protection is void. You have like at best 6 months after the game released, and it's already off. No, that's not how it works. I mean, yeah, of course. Now
you don't want to know.
Okay, it's fine. Okay, fine. It works like this, but only. Yeah, but okay, it only works because I'm a nice person. Okay. I mean, and also, I have no idea what's happening there. I have no connection to the entire series at all.
Well, I haven't seen Sixth Sense yet, so no one spoil that for me.
Is there a Sixth Sense?
Yes.
Yes.
And you didn't know?
What's it called?
Gastronomy.
Gosh, hell no, bro.
Tired already?
Yes.
Yeah. Been a long week.
I mean, it's been a short week. It's only.
Are you
4
free?
days.
This was it, right? This is your last Hua? No?
He's never free.
Yippee!
Cat is never free.
Axes are eternal.
Hey, make sure you hit that like button and don't forget to hit subscribe. He never does.
He's got you there, Cat.
Said he never went live.
He's got you there, Trubs.
What are we talking about? There's a stream notification.
Goddamn people in
4
chat.
minutes ago, too.
I'm yawning because of yo yawning.
It's not my fault. I did a 50-hour work.
That means trouble. You're a social person.
50 hours every day.
Yeah, you work 50 hours a day, huh? It's pretty brutal.
Fucking feels like it, dude.
You know, I believe it. Carry on, my wayward son.
Will there be peace when you are
May
done?
you find your way home?
No. There will not be peace when you are done. So keep on crying.
Don't you worry, child.
I like how Trubs deflated while doing that.
Deflated.
Now just going up, boys.
Surprise, Chad! It's karaoke night tonight.
Hell yeah, brother.
He almost said something.
Yeah, leave us. It's fine.
I did not almost say something terrible, chat. Don't believe them. I literally just said I'm gonna jump up. Okay. Huzzah! Started back fireman after bringing home a new puppy. Nice. What is the make of this one? Okay, chat, I just got the tweet out. We're going live. Do me the favor, go give that some love. And where did I put today's sauce? There is today's sauce. Cat, you looking forward to the new saberface? Yes, I am. My wallet isn't. Okie dokie dookie. Hello, chat. Welcome to the new and improved farm. It's a thing. Saber Johnny? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see it may not be a saber, right? It might end up being a ruler, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this be like a La Pucelle form or something like that. Or again, maybe a single target. Could be a thing. Judgment Janu. Now with more Saberface, that's right. Yeah, my wallet definitely not looking forward to it, but you know, I'm happy. I'm happy to see John get some love, because I'm gonna be honest with you guys at this point. I feel like OG Janu is just like kind of underappreciated at this point by the devs. And so it's like it's good to see them actually like bringing her back and like giving her some time in the sun. But I think this kind of it's the whatchamacallit argument all over again. The Arjuna Alter, God, I could not remember his name. Where it's like, oh, hey, we can't really fix the original version, so we'll just do the other. Yeah, so there's been a lot of stuff about it being Metatron and stuff. I do think Metatron's going to be involved in the story because of that thing, hence the stream title being Jeanne-Tron, because everybody keeps thinking it's going to be that. But I talked with Trubs at lunch, and I saw a post on Twitter that kind of echoed the sentiment that Trubs gave me. And I think they're right. I think you're going to see... So, to be clear here, chat, Metatron is like... It's an archangel. It's like the messenger of God, but it's not like the same archangel that you have in Christianity. That version is predominantly from other religions like Gnosticism and Judaism and stuff like that. So, I'm not saying it can't be a thing, just that, like, a little bit... I do think Michael fits Janu a lot better than Metatron does. So we'll see what that does in that regard. She might even get another buff. She might. Yeah, I mean, there's probably a strong a strong indication that this could either be a new variant or, oh, by the way, Chad, I'm done with my blue apples. Or it could either be a new variant or it could be a like costume and extension of the existing one, right? How's the farm going? Farm's going pretty good. I'm at about, I don't know. We'll do the math. I haven't actually looked in a hot second. Oh, I also got a haircut today, chat. So I told her to just go short, nice and short. So, God, the lighting on stream makes my hair look super gray. It's funny because my hair is actually like not gray at all in that regard. Like, didn't go bald, Sag? Oh, chat, I'm not gonna go bald, like, ever. I have my grandfather's hair, and my grandfather died at 96 with a full head of hair. So I always figured it was blonde. No, my hair is brown naturally, but it's like, it's definitely got some gray in it now. But like the stream makes it look like far more gray than it actually is. Which is funny to me. Looks clean, it is. Gotta get ahead of the heat. That's kind of where I'm at too, because like my hair, I had like the mullet in the back already. So like I was able to like trim up the front and the sides and everything, but the back I had just left longer, and it was kind of like a mullet at that point. And it was really funny because one of the other hairdressers that was in the place, well, stylist, I guess you call them, I don't know, that was in the place where I was, like, she had her son in and she was cutting his hair, and she was cutting his to be a mullet. So it was like freaking hilarious that I was basically getting rid of my mullet and she was giving her own son a mullet. She's like, well, it's in right now. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't need it. I'm sorry. It's the reflecting of light. It probably is. The power is transferred, yes. There must always be one. She's hot, yeah. Under 10 boxes, so can't be mad about drops yet. Yeah, I mean, if you guys are taking it easy until one of the later rounds, you just don't have a lot of refills, don't worry about it too much. Y'all know me at this point. I haven't seen if they've fixed any of the bugs. I assume they haven't because I didn't see any announcement today in that regard. Yes, I'm sorry. I did not give you guys today's art. Here it is. Go give the artist some love. It's a cute Artoria wielding Excalibur. Not touch the 100 spin? Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't unless you have to. Okay, chat. I am at 83,000, which is... Uh, 1,000 off of 140? I think. Oh, let's not do that. You farmed a lot? The sad part is I didn't. I basically... I didn't get to start farming, chat, until like... pretty much after my haircut. It was like my lunch break is when I started farming. Because I just had too much shit to do this morning. I had to... obviously go to work, get all that stuff situated. They changed passwords on us. We had to reset everything. I then had to like get situated there, and then eventually had to go for my haircut. In the same time, I also went to the gas station. Then I went to go get lunch. Then I came home. So it was like, it basically wasn't until I went to go get lunch that I was like, okay, finally I can actually start doing stuff in earnest. They didn't have like everything demanding my attention. No plug comps go burr. They really do. And you guys can see I've refined this comp. So, Kuro here literally gets damage bonus for the event. So, as you guys can see, I literally don't have to press her actual steroid. I'm also at 2 MLB now. I'm at 83, not 93. Cal. I wish I was at 93. But there you go. Yeah, so I should be at 1. Oh, unless you're considering that like I've opened boxes. Because that I have not. I haven't touched the lotto spin yet. This comp is really nice though. Like basically I got an MLB and I level 100'd that MLB. I think you guys saw it last night. So I actually switched off of that because I finally hit Bond 10 with Gil. So I basically slapped a Bond Grail on him, but then I rotated him out. And I was like, okay, like, can I make this comp faster? And that's kind of what this is. The real problem is I can't get John to like clean kill without using the Mystic Code. If I could, that would be like even more ideal. But there's just kind of like no way to do it. She has the level 100 one on her right now. Morgan works as well. Oh no, that's fine. It's just this is a complete arts comp. Casgill buffs arts and the other 2 units are arts, so it just works perfectly. But yeah, I'm at 9 bonus. I've plowed through all my bronze and blue apples. I'm on my silvers already. And honestly, I'm already like chewing through the silvers. We'll probably be done with the silvers tonight. Because I really don't have too much more in that way. Is this Renegade? Yep. Long Hangman is coming down from the gallows, and I don't have very long. There it is. Watermelon, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Who should I get first? I'm a beginner. Like, what do you mean? HSR, thank you for the follow as well. Like, are you asking like who to go for in your initial like tutorial role? Gil Saber and Mephisto. I think it's almost guaranteeable that you're gonna see some form of Satan. Because you literally have a depiction of the 9th level of hell in the trailer. And I'll show that to you guys. And the line basically, I think it's like, oh, I don't get many visitors. So it's like, oh shit, right? Get Casteria first, right? Yeah. I just started, yeah. So I have an entire new player guide. If you want to go read it, I have an entire section that talks about that. Usually some of the best ones to get out of the tutorial summon are going to end up being like Nitocris, Herc. I'm trying to think of who else is in it right now. Because they've switched it around like 3 times on us. Yeah, let me see. I need to actually update that portion because the old version isn't relevant anymore for that section. Yeah, so Nito, Chris, Herc, honestly, Cersei's not a bad pickup. I like Zenobia, but Zenobia may be a little rough there at first. At NP1. Lakshmi's not bad. Honestly, the tutorial summon nowadays is just way all around better than it used to be. So there's like, I'm not going to say you're like screwed if you get any of the units. You'll be perfectly fine. Yeah, they took out Helena. That's the problem. Is Suzuka on there? No, they took out Suzuka. Remember when they nerfed the pool? Yeah, I mean that's what people are referring to because Helena was like just arguably like the de facto best unit they've ever put in the tutorial summon. Yeah, there's also the 5-star ticket that you'll get at launch. And if you've really got your eye on one of the characters, you can go for that. The general consensus that most people tell people to pick, though, with the 5-star ticket is they tell you to pick Waver, aka Zhuge Liang Lord El Malloy II. Yep. And I'm sorry if I butchered that to any Chinese people in the audience. I have no idea how to say it. I didn't need to pop that. This comp, believe it or not, though, chat is still scuffable. You'll see. It's definitely going to happen. Someone's like Jill's Saber NP. Yeah. Yeah, the special ascension. So that's a funny one. Because the smarter a player you are, the smarter you can be with the special ascension. Obviously, you can use the special ascension to immediately max like your first 5-star character. However, there may be some value in not doing that. Because where you'll get the most bang for your buck, it is on a 5-star, but it's going to be on a 5-star whose materials you can't get easily. That's where you go like, ooh, wait, yeah. If it's like somebody that's got like later on like Lost Belt or like Ordeal Call locked mats, using the special ascension on them is going to be way better than using it on somebody that has like part 1 materials that you can access easy. Granted, a little bit the pure prism system helps negate all of that. So would Tamamo be a second recommend pick? If not Waver than everyone else? Yeah, Tamamo's definitely way up there. To me, it's like if you're not gonna pick Waver, like who you should go for gameplay wise, is like it's either gonna be like Tamamo, Ozzy. There's even some good like justification for trying to get like Janu, or just a really strong AoE or single target of your choice at that point. If you replace Kuro with Draco, you can just card the second wave. I was running Draco all of yesterday. And no, you can't just card it. It's a little bit more complex than that. Oh, and for Lartoria Castoria Lock? Yeah, I'm sure that's why you picked Lartoria. I'm sure it was that. I too waifu'd Lartoria because story lock, yes. You figured me out, chat. Yes, the vast tracts of land. Back then, reroll until you get Herc. Yeah, like, originally, it's actually funny. Herc is a much better pick now than he ever actually historically was. I know it sounds wild, but I used to completely disagree with most starting guides telling you to pick Herc, because for a lot of people, Herc required so much investment to actually be worth. And it was one of those deals where people were like valuing him based off of like somebody's 10, 10, 10, Bond 10 Herc that was going to take a new player a lot longer to get to. Doubly so when the new player probably couldn't get Herc's materials very quickly or easily back in the day. And so it ended up being a thing where it's like everyone tells you to pick Herc, but you won't actually be able to use Herc for the first couple months that you're playing the game effectively. So it ended up being one of those cases where it's like by the time you finally got him online, your account was already probably good enough that you didn't actually need to care. But now you have tutorial missions, you have pure prisms, so like getting Herc online is way easier and way faster than it ever has been. I picked Arturia my first account and I regret it a bit since she's not the most helpful early on. Yeah, I think that's like, at the end of the day, it just really boils down to, can you actually get a lot of good value out of the unit early? And I'm going to say it really doesn't matter as long as you're a patient player. Like, at that point, just go with whatever character you like. I wish Squirt had her charge for this. Yeah, that would be good. I mean, one of the reasons I also picked Kuro, it wasn't even the damage bonus that I was thinking about. It was literally, I was looking for another archer that had good attribute, because John buffs people that have good attribute with a second charisma. So I was looking at that, and then I was like, oh, wait, no, hold on. Kuro actually is that and has the damage bonus. And then I was like, oh, shit, she's a one button press. So it's like, it dropped this pretty much down to an 8 press comp. That doesn't really have RNG unless like Gil low rolls somehow, which I could prevent if I would just throw like a single craft essence bomb into him, but I don't want to. Yeah, you'll probably get another one. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You guys will probably get another SSR ticket for 10th Annie. Like, I don't think that's a crazy thing to expect. Hey, Ern, how's it going? FP support Morgan to binge the plot. Yeah, that's why I say, like, at the end of the day. So some people do. They'll binge the plot. My advice to most players is actually to, like, not do that. My advice is like, take it easy and get to know the game, because part 1 is fairly easy, especially early on. So it's a good idea to like just start using different units and feel things out, try to figure out how things work mechanically. And then, you know, later on, once you've kind of gotten a firm grasp of it, it's like, then if you want to like try to blitz stuff, you can. But I think most people will just struggle to be able to blitz stuff in the first place if they don't already understand the mechanics. But admittedly, if you came to this channel, you literally just luck sacked your way out of a lot of that, because I definitely try to help you guys with that. So much different now than it was in the first year. You have access to so many better servants on a friends list than we ever did. I mean, even then, like, the example I always love to give people, because it comes up whenever we talk about the saberface only runs that I do. So it's like, I started doing the saberface only runs in Babylonia, and already immediately in like Ordeal Call, I struggled. And the reason I struggled is because back then, or sorry, not Ordeal Call, Epic of Remnant. Sorry. back then when Epic of Remnant first came out, it's like, okay, we had Shinjuku. The primary enemy in Shinjuku was Shinjuku Avenger, which was an Avenger. And we didn't have moon cancers in the game. So there was no effective counter to an Avenger at that time. So it's like, oh shit, right? Like, you start thinking about that back then, and it's like, yeah, doing content on release has always been harder, especially on the JP side of things compared to the NA side. NA side at least usually has JP as a guideline ahead of them, but JP, you're going in blind. We have Berserker, yep. Same thing, it's like you got into Agartha and you faced Megalos. We didn't have foreigners. You got into whatchamacallit. Actually, I think from that point on, it got a little bit easier. I'm trying to think, like, the hardest stuff in Shimosa, while it was harder combat-wise, it wasn't like there wasn't an effective solution to the fights. So it was basically those first two Epic of Remnants where stuff was kind of nasty. Actually, I say first two. Technically first three, because you have to also include CCC in that, where we started getting both a beast and alter egos thrown our way, and there was no real effective counter to alter egos back then either. Nor did, like, Musashi or Kama either exist or have their buff at that time. Niche damage for servants, yep. The big bad caster in LB5 without Castoria, yeah. Old FGO old. It's like a little bit, looking back on that, I'm kind of nostalgic because the game has gotten a whole lot easier in that regard. There is now, like, there are effective solutions to any problems that the devs can throw at you. As opposed to, like, back then, it's not that there wasn't necessarily an effective solution, it's that the solution was probably a double-edged sword. So it was like, okay, I'm gonna take a Berserker in, or like, man, I'm gonna take something that the enemy is deals like resistant damage to, but you don't deal effective damage to the enemy, so it takes you forever. You had to stall comp things a lot back in the day. Not being able to use the NPs of FP supports, it was fine. I've always had a very robust friends list. I never had any issue with that. That's like way back in the day, before I was a streamer for this game. When I was first starting out, I think it was like the third month of FGO being out on NA. And Kaido, you motherfucker. Basically, like, I remember the first whale that accepted me. And I had that whale on my friends list for a long time. He might still be there. I don't remember if I've gotten rid of him or not. But I haven't, like, he occasionally would come to stream. I haven't seen him in a long time now. But yeah, it was one of those deals where it's just like getting that first person that had a pretty robust account on your friends list back in the day really made a difference, because we didn't have following, we didn't have the ability to use random people's noble phantasms, so it just on all accounts was really nice to get a good person on your account. Because that sweet support list, I would get rid of those people. If people haven't logged in usually about like 2 weeks, they're just not going to show up in your support list hardly ever. And even if they do, they're not going to have the stuff actually equipped that you need most of the time. Like, they won't be playing events while they're relevant and stuff. Hold on, chat. I remembered me need do JP stuff. Me go grind ember. Yeah, why not? I just realized it's like, oh crap, I'm probably capped out on JP. I need to do this. Oh, why did I do that? That was stupid of me. Do I even have... Nope. Yeah, I think that's why they did it. They basically relaxed all of the requirements because they knew that people like were having a hard time getting on more veteran players' friends lists. And they just said, well, the entire problem is this, so let's get rid of the problem. Neon, thank you for the 54. Appreciate it, my dude. Yeah, can we get some love for Neon? Thank you, Burning. NA is getting an SR ticket soonish, right? Are we? Is this one of the ones that has 20% charge? No. Damn. Damn. Can I crit that dead? Got myself out of a bad situation. See, chat, I can make more mistakes because I know how to get out of it. Had too many Mashu Masters stopping playing after 2 days to go back to accepting newbies. Yeah, and I don't blame people that are like that. Like I said, I myself got to be that way after a while because you realize it's like there's no point in accepting the brand new player because the brand new player often didn't pan out. Instead, you waited for somebody to actually like commit to the game a little bit more. Usually the telltale sign was if they had loaded out their support list, it meant they cared. So that's like, those were the people that I started to accept. Which is really weird because people get like really like defensive, I think, about their support lists. They go like, oh no, I'm not gonna like I don't have good units. I'm not gonna put anything up. People think that I suck. And it's like, we know that you suck. It's fine. Just put them up anyways. It's like, nobody actually cares. It's cool. Like... Is October for the 3,000 days, Annie? Yeah, I couldn't remember. It's been so freaking long. Well, I'll have to make a video for that. Due to being too demanding to catch up. Yeah, I mean, I've been a huge proponent of for like years now of like the NA devs giving us quality of life early that helps new players, because I understand that like new players are the lifeblood of the game and they need to keep attracting them and they need to keep making the experience as like seamless and flawless as possible for a new player to onboard. The more barriers to entry a game has, the less new players it will actually receive long term. I want to see the weak servant slowly getting stronger. Yeah, I agree. I think that's another big thing. I think it makes sense to me that the devs don't want to do that from the express reason of old units don't necessarily make them more money, right? But I think even they kind of acknowledge that because of the path that they're on, they can't like stop doing it, and that they've been negligent with it and they need to get their act in order. Which we kind of have seen. They've started to do more buffs since about halfway through the year last year. And they've been kind of keeping that same pace up, so it's good at least. Caveats in that awkward moment where they have underskilled Castoria over on Clan. Yeah. That is always going to be a problem, but as long as you know to watch out for it or you don't care that much about it, it's not that huge of a deal, right? Usually the reason I care is like I especially care during a lotto. But in general, most of the people on my friends list had to wait long enough to get on my friends list that like their account is already well in order before they ever get to me. Whee! Back to doing nothing on JP. There you go, chat. JP done. That easy. Yeah, I do agree with that, Silence. That's been another one that I've been harping on them for, but it is what it is. They've said before, it's like, oh, we want to do main interludes so that people understand the like stories of characters that are in the game that they can't get otherwise. And it's like, yeah, but the problem is like you can't just selectively pick and choose which events matter for that. Because in theory, every event matters since every event has a new character joining in it. So it's one of those deals where it's like they really do just need to go back and adapt them. And I think to some degree they know that because they've talked about it before. And they've said like kind of the reason they gave us the Evocation Festival is because they realized they didn't have the time to do the main interludes. So they just said, all right, the essence of what everybody wanted from it was they wanted the welfare. So we're just giving them that. And while I like that they went ahead and did that because the Evocation Festival is really good for the game, it also does not excuse them from like being able to have that duty to bring the actual stories for the characters. If nothing else, at least good cutscenes. They have that they have given you the cutscenes. That is a thing now on JP, but they haven't like actually given you the story. Plot and seeing those past maps. Yep. Be what it be. Putting the NP levels of welfares behind rare prisms. Yeah, that was stupid. I think the devs have realized that too. For better or worse. So like this is why I say like FGO's done stuff like that like people would look back and they'd be like, man, that's kind of scummy. But I don't really think that's like super scummy so much as just like I think the devs maybe misunderstood that a free-to-play doesn't have that rare prism economy to be able to like get those. I think the devs thought they had given out enough rare prisms that I think they very quickly realized they in fact hadn't. I mean, yeah, they could definitely do something like that, Silence. I think the issue is just that, like, the devs seemingly don't have the time. And we can get into that, but it's kind of the same old story as always. It's like, why don't the devs have time? They make all this money, and then we talk about how they've had hiring issues in the past, possibly due to their reputation. And then we talk about how, you know, even though they make all this money, the money is probably not injected back into the actual developer. So I don't know, right? Like it is what it is. They should buff the old welfare servants more frequently. They basically usually do it with each Evocation Festival, but that's kind of been sometimes, like, instead of all the time, so it is what it is. But yeah, I've talked a lot about how, like, obviously people want, like, their favorite 5 stars buffed, right? But at the end of the day, if you're 3 stars and lower and your welfares can't cut it in high-end content, you're just kind of fucked at that point. Like what is the point of having the welfare? What is the point of having the 3-star, 2-star, and 1-star unit if they're getting, like, bodied or get weight roomed because they can't deal the damage, right? So at that point, you begin to realize it's like, oh, you know, for a game that historically has allowed every rarity to be able to, like, perform decently okay, it's a bad trend if the content is outpacing them. And we do see that to some degree now. I'll be curious to see how the devs treat it in the future. But it's still not, like, beyond the pale where it's like, oh, there's nothing they can do about it. They can still do a whole lot to fix that. And if we're not dealing with the most upper echelon of content, your welfares and 3-star and lower units are all still very good, so... Please buff Mellow and Oberon. I know people like Mellow. I know people like people want her buffed and stuff, but, like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, buffing Melisson is like literally one of the worst things they could do in the entire game. It would just send all of the wrong signals to the player base. It would, and I hate to say this, but it's like, whether or not you guys like LB6, the LB6 wank has been damn near, like, incessant. It has almost never left since LB6 came out, right? And I understand it's like, oh, well, they're popular, Cad, of course, right? Like, it's not healthy for the game. It really, truly isn't. Like, they at points definitely need to, like, move on. It's okay with the fact that, like, they're popular and they want to give them their time in the sun. I don't have any issue with that. But they do need to, like, be a little bit better about how they rotate through the popularity of characters. And you can see that with, like, for instance, we finally got, like, Space Summer Ereshkigal, where it's like, oh, this is the second form of Ereshkigal after how many years? So it's like, you're sitting there and you're like, what the heck? One of the most popular characters in the game was, like, outright ignored for basically 7 years. And it's like, that's just stupid on the devs' part. There's no excuse for it. It's bad. And in case anyone's like, oh, Cad's just being, he's like just trying to shit on the game and the developers. No, the developers would agree with me. The developers admitted that they fucked up by not bringing her a new version. Like, Nasu and Takeuchi apologized for it. They said they in fact did wait too long to do it and they shouldn't have. So it's like, I'm not going to say the devs are perfect. I'm sure some people want to believe that. They definitely make mistakes. But at the end of the day, it's kind of why I bring this up. It's like, those are poor choices and they do have negative repercussions. Like, for instance, I do know of a ton of Rin fans that quit playing the game because Rin just got, like, nothing for years. And it's like, I don't blame anyone at that point. If your major interest is in, like, one of the, like, main archetype of characters and that character gets no attention, you're going to lose interest. It makes sense. So in the same degree, it's like, if we look at, like, the LB6 units, yeah, you do got to give them some attention. But if all you're doing is giving the LB6 units attention, you're literally bucking everyone else and not giving anybody else any time to shine. And then at that point, you're just alienating a good chunk of the people where it's like, maybe they liked LB6, but LB6 wasn't their favorite character or something like that. That makes problems at that point. Can a newer JP player can see the plot and scenes of a past event he missed in the game? No. but Gecko was perfectly fine in the Doggo event. Yeah, I think like giving each of them their own moment, there was nothing wrong with that. The issue has kind of been as they have expanded that, and it's been like event after event after event, and then they basically, what they did was they rotated through all of them to stagger them, so it felt like there almost was no end in sight. And I say this, chat, you're literally coming up on another one. Does anyone know what the next one is? On an A. Yep, it's the Foot Tower. The Foot Tower is centered around Balbon Sith. So it's like you're literally about to have yet another one. So, I mean, like, it is what it is. But that's why I'm trying to, like, say, because it's like, I know people really like LB6, but the more they hyper-fixate on LB6, the worse it is for the game. It's like, yeah, the people that like LB6 and the people whose favorite units it are, they appreciate it. They like it more. They become deeper entrenched. But if all you care about is not LB6, or God forbid you hated LB6, you're not going to be very appreciative of the game at that point, right? I want LB7 focus, yeah. So it's like, there were a ton of people when LB7 came out on JP that were like disappointed that that's all there was to LB7. That like very quickly here we transition into Ordeal Call, and LB7 just kind of gets dropped like a bad habit, and you don't really see very much emphasis or focus on it to the same degree that like LB6 got. So that's where I think a lot of people were like, what the fuck? And they were like, why didn't you focus on LB7 and give it proper attention like the other one received? And I don't blame people for feeling that way, because I think that's a very legitimate point that they had. We're playing Fate Avalon LaFay, yeah. And like, I mean, again, I'm not going to fault anyone for liking the singularities, but it's just, the devs have to do a good job of balancing demand and like attention over time. And I say this as somebody that's like, yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a saberface lover, right? And I know it's like they gave a lot of attention to the saberfaces over the years. But the one credit I'll give them is they definitely spaced out all of the attention they ever gave to saberfaces. It was very rare that you ever got an onslaught of them. It was usually like kind of 6 months in between each one at worst, really. I think the big times where you used to get multiple were basically just the summer events. If you do 2 consecutive 100 spins, it breaks the app. What the fuck? Just pay attention for maintenance updates. Yeah. Like I said, I assume they'll get it fixed here fairly soon. However, keep in mind, guys, this issue had to be reported to the NA devs. The NA devs probably walked in the morning and were like, oh crap. And then they probably sent that off to JP. So you might not get a fix until like, I don't know, tomorrow. Maybe. Like, honestly, at this point, consider yourself lucky if we get a fix by Monday. But we'll just see. I hope we do get Summer Lalter. I do too. Like, and at the same time, I'll be disappointed if they don't do Summer Lalter. But it's because Lalter at this point is it's a Reshkagal. It's that same situation. Like, Lalter was one of the most demanded characters alongside Ereshkigal. Ereshkigal got her attention finally. Now Lalter is like the next one up in that regard. Oh, crap. There you go, chat. There's your scuff. Oh, like, listen, Play. I wouldn't even be at all surprised if, like, this upcoming summer is an LB7 summer. That wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Dan? Or Dan C? Enjoy your gift sub. I feel Lolter deserves a 5-star unit. Let me ask you this. Do you really like Lolter? Would you grail Lolter? Then of course you feel like she needs a 5-star unit. I do too. I agree with you. I think she deserves a 5-star unit. But I'm just like, I'm pointing out, it's like, yeah, I mean, of course we feel that way, right? Like, I've in fact grailed my Lolter. I've grailed my Lolter on JP. I have not gotten around to it yet on an A, but that's because grail situation is what it is. Well, now what do I do with this? We stagger. Oh, I should have healed her. That would have gotten rid of the attack down. Whee! I don't know how they launched Lotto with 100 spin broken. How does any bug ever occur? Like, I couldn't tell you, right? Like, I assume bugs happen both in conjunction with unforeseen, like, things and a lack of, like, actual testing. So, the thing is, I think everyone will be like, oh, they didn't quality control. They didn't test it. And I'm like, that's not even that guaranteeable. It may be the case that they tested it on their end and it worked fine for them. Or, like, they just didn't notice the bug even in their testing somehow, right? I couldn't tell you why. Yeah, so the first 10 spins have the graphical glitch. When you get to the 100 spin... Sorry, the first 10 boxes, not 10 spins. The first 10 boxes have the graphical glitch. When you get to the 11th box, aka the 100 spin, it will apparently crash your game. Like, so, like, the second you try to, like, I guess chat's saying it's like the second 100 spin you do in a row will just crash you. Just blame the Aresh Kagal ghost in the machine, yes. You're right, it is Aresh Kagal. Therefore, we can't have Summer Space Aresh Kagal. That is clearly the issue. I guess I'm not affected by it then? Huh? Congratulations. FGO is the production servers where the game is live to everybody. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people don't really understand how quality control works in that regard. And doing, like, QA testing. It's not an exact science, nor is it like so this often gets talked about with, like, let's just take this to, like, outside of FGO to, like, normal video games, right? If the devs have 100 quality assurance testers sitting there playing the game non-stop for, like, 6 months testing everything, right? So how long is that? How many hours is in 6 months? Let's see, that's like... You know what, let's just do 60 times 30, because that'll... Or 6 times 30, because that'll literally just give us a more average number. So it'd be 180 days. So 180 days times, I don't know, let's say an 8-hour workday. So, well, actually, in that time, you wouldn't even have, like, constant work days. 5 out of every 7 days would be a work day. Let's see, what's 180 divided by 7? You have 25 weeks, basically. So let's just take 5 times 25 is how many work days you would have in that period, roughly. Take that and multiply that by 8, because that's about the number of hours. So, chat, that's 1,000 hours times 100 testers is 100,000 quality assurance hours. Surely that's enough time to find every bug, right? Yeah. If your game has 1 million players and they play the game for 1 hour, they have already achieved 10 times the quality assurance that your testers did for 6 months. And that's assuming that they actually have 100 people on staff doing that. I guarantee you most of them don't anymore. So, like, that's just a measure of why bugs go unfound, but then get found randomly by, like, some dude just running through a field at, like, the weirdest part. Or, like, bro throws a fireball when he shouldn't do it. Bro no clips through a wall when he shouldn't have. Like, it's how this stuff happens. It's like there's only so much they can actually try to test for. And I guarantee you quality assurance is going to try to hyperfixate on the biggest problems, or at least the problems that they can foresee themselves fixing prior to the release. So bug testing is not an exact science. It's very, like, time consuming, because even once you find the bug, you have to be able to replicate it and then be able to figure out a fix for it. So in that regard, yeah, you're never going to get them all. There's always going to be some that are out there, and some of them will just be completely unworthy of being fixed. Now, with that being said, that is still not an excuse for the current state of video gaming. Current state of video gaming is really fucking bad, and we know this because so many of these publishers and developers have been trying to cut costs. And chat, can you guess where they cut costs the most? Yeah, it's getting rid of their quality assurance teams or outsourcing it to some other, like, location. So that is the problem at play there. So when you feel like you are a beta tester, sometimes you are. And it sucks. The industry should not be that way. And it's especially bad if you want to know at least a little bit why some of these like AAA studios are kind of going to shit. It is that reason. So they're not hiring, they're cutting costs by not hiring quality assurance. And then as they do that, they basically make their product worse. But what they're also doing is they're making their next product worse. And their next product worse. And their next product worse. But not for the reason you think. You see, obviously, if they're not bug testing, each of their products is going to be bad, right? But the reason it's going to have a, like, trickle-down effect from the first to the second to the third product is because Q&A is where most developers actually used to get their start. Doing bug testing taught developers not only coding, but also how to find bugs and how to prevent them from occurring. So when you get rid of the quality assurance area, you now have gotten rid of the logical stepping stone and starting point for most developers. So instead they jump right in and go, like, neck deep into something they maybe aren't qualified for. And it is what it is. And that's why your next product and the product after that suck more. Because now you have shittier devs that don't know as much about the engine that they're running on, or the, like, the coding strings that they're putting in, that sort of stuff. It just ends up backfiring and causing the individual developers to be less skilled overall. A cousin of mine is a Microsoft dev, and he's often boasting they never needed quality assurance people. Listen, I don't want to insult your cousin, Fred, but like, he could not be more wrong. And I say this as somebody that, like, I literally refuse to do Microsoft updates unless I have the time to sit down and make sure that all my settings are good. Because Microsoft updates very frequently fuck over my streaming setup. The devs can have us bug testing. I'm fine with that if I get proper payment, right? Yeah. Yeah, surely if the devs are requiring us to be the bug testers, we shouldn't have to pay full price for the game, right? Like, I shouldn't have to pay $70 or $80 for a game that I'm the bug tester for. And to a large degree, chat, that is why people are so upset about $70 games. That's why they're so upset about the Nintendo Switch prices. It's like, everybody knows the quality of games has gone down over time. And part of that's like, you give the devs at least somewhat of a pass, depending on the style of game. Like, chat, you can't have a Bethesda release without someone being like, LOL Bugthesda. And I'm like, dude, it's an open world game where the player seemingly has like total agency. I'm amazed there aren't more bugs. I'm amazed that the thing even fucking functions. That's good. Like, so it's like people will sit there and they'll get upset over like some T-posing model in the game, and I'm like, not only is that hilarious and I laugh at it, I'm just like glad that the game actually allows me to like basically just reload a save and fix it, rather than it being like some game-breaking bug that hard bricks and crashes me to desktop over and over and over again. But that's where I'm going to say, it's like, to me, I give Bethesda a huge pass when it comes to bugs, because they're making an open world game that has a lot of moving parts. Versus like, bro, if you got a lot of bugs in like a theme park on the rails, like just like 20-hour game, there's some problems, man. This is why you don't buy games at launch. Well, yeah, I mean, like you said yourself there, it's not going to matter at a point because they're just never going to reduce their price. Yeah, that's the other issue, is they just fire people once their stuff is done. And it's like, I don't really understand that. Especially, so chat, hear me out on this. If you're Larian and you finish your game and you have to lay some people off, I understand that. I actually do. I don't fault them for that, okay? Because Larian is its own independent studio that doesn't really get like any sort of overhead help, okay? But when you're Bethesda, when you are BioWare, when you are Ubisoft, there's no excuse for you laying people off. And the reason why is because each one of those is the part of or the actual bigger cog in the machine. Bethesda is under Microsoft. Ubisoft is itself a major publishing giant. BioWare is under EA. So now ask me this. Why are they laying people off when EA has the capability and has so many irons in the fire at any given moment that they couldn't just go, you know what? Yeah, we're just going to repurpose you over to this other project. Just saying. If you're one of the world's biggest game publishers, why do you need to lay people off after they're done with a project? Why can't you just send them on to the next project? Like, to me, that's really fucking stupid. Cheaper to rehire? It's not. Like, this is a verifiable, proven thing. Firing and rehiring somebody is infinitely more expensive than just keeping someone on and never having to train a new person. It also, in general, has a bunch of extra effects of making people feel more appreciated and rewarded and like their job is more secure. So they're generally going to be a better worker, right? Creates brain drain too, doesn't it? Yeah. So it's like, when you start hearing about them doing this, and then, like, again, not to like toot Nintendo's horn too much here, but it's like, you look back at COVID, all these devs like started firing a bunch of people at first when COVID started. And Nintendo was like, no, we're not going to fire people. Because like this will pass. Like this is going to suck, but we'll get through this. And then we'll come out stronger on the back end. And they did. Versus all these other studios. So what happened, chat, when COVID first hit? Basically, a bunch of these studios said, we're going to fire everyone. Then they went, oh shit, everybody's work from home. And then they said, shit, we need to hire more people so that we can achieve the same productivity that we used to do before we had fired everyone. So allow me to explain, chat. Let's use simple numbers. Let's say they fired half their people. Then they transitioned into work from home. And then they said, hey, let's hire people. And they hired like 2 times the number of people. And then what actually happened afterwards, and this was like back, chat, do you guys remember like 2003 where we had all those layoffs? Yeah, that was them laying off all the people that they hired in COVID. Because they started bringing people back into the office and they started firing all the extra people that they hired. Because they were like, oh man, we need double the staff to be able to handle like what we needed when we were work from home. And then they're like, let's bring everyone back. And now it's like, oh, okay, well, now we don't need half the staff, so we're going to fire that half. And you're sitting there and you're like, that is so stupid. Like, of course people hate you now. You've just literally done like a seesaw back and forth, just firing and hiring people over and over and over again. People's labor is not actually a cost, it's an investment. Yeah. And that's, I completely agree with that. And it's wild that these companies don't seem to understand that. I do understand it's like, hey, yeah, this is unsustainable. We need to fire some people. But it feels like they just knee-jerk react to things. And they have no foresight and they don't go like, man, do we think this will turn around? Do we think that there's going to be a need? Can we find a way to just repurpose this worker in the meantime so that we don't have to fire them? They don't do that. They just go like, no, we're going to fire. The execs are stupid. I'll say this. Not that I wish this on the world, but if we ever do have anything like COVID ever again, I think the second time around will be way different. Because I think people are going to look at like all of the data and research that came out from working conditions under COVID, and they're going to go like, man, that didn't fucking work. Like, and they'll just be like, yeah, let's not do that this time around, I hope. There's no long-term planning. Isn't the average CEO tenure like 2 years now? Yeah, that's definitely one of the issues. I'm beginning to think we almost need like a law that makes it illegal to compensate a CEO of a Fortune 500 company with a bonus for stock performance. Because, and the sad part is, even if you did that, they would find some other way to give them a bonus incentive based off of performance. So it's like, it's not going to change the issue too much, but what you're looking for is you're hopefully trying to change the culture, the idea behind it, and point out it's like, hey, this is really bad. Stop doing it. It's making people make stupid decisions that are not good long term for your company. Simply is the culture of shareholders, quick profits first. Right, but that's exactly why. So hear me out on this. This is a wild idea, okay? Shareholders come and go, so you should actually not care about them. If your business is doing good, the shareholders will invest in you. If your business is not doing good, the shareholders will bail on you. You can just rest assured on that. So shouldn't your focus always just be on making the business do good long term, rather than worrying about the individual ups and downs of the situation that is inherently chaotic? You should be playing the long con and going for sustainability and gradual growth rather than get rich quick schemes. And that also reaps dividends on its own, because some shareholders will invest in you specifically for the, like, how do I put it? Like, not guaranteeable outcome, but like the consistency of your earnings and stuff like that. That's what they'll go for. They'll be like, wait, this company is really well run, it's really consistent, that's a company I'm going to invest in, and it will grow over time, and I'll be able to cash that in years later for a much bigger long-term gain. What if companies just stayed private and didn't need to deal with shareholders? That's an interesting idea. There's a problem with it, though. Usually companies like to go public to expand their operations. And the reason why is because they need the actual investment. See, that is what shareholders are. Their investment, their actual liquidity, their inflow of cash to the company. So if you sit there and you go like, man, I don't ever want to go public, you can do that, but you have to have a really good business model, something that can stand the test of time. And an example that I'm going to give you is Steam, because Steam is a company that is not publicly traded and is definitely one that, you know, is doing well because of it. But you get a lot of these companies and they get, well, we'll use Discord as the other example. They get a little bit too big for their britches and they want more, and they get greedy and they go, okay, well, in order to do bigger and more things, we need, in order to take the next step, to go public. Because that's the only way we can continue this growth, is if we actually get additional inflows and investment from, you know, the greater sort of financial capability of the country. Oh, another drop. Usually most of these companies, Cal, like, they have so much stock that like your majority shareholders, like you probably don't even have one that's over like 10%. But even at that point, like, let's say you had a 10% stockholder, they can absolutely wield their influence over a meeting. So it's like, it's rough. It definitely is weird because of that. What was I going to look at in there? Oh, right, the drops. I was like, why did I come into the screen? So we have 2 MLBs. And then I'm equipping 3 more. And then I have 2, so I can MLB in 1 more. Jesus, already? Yeah. Holy crap. My drops have been good today. Yep, we're almost at 90, so we're almost at 150, which we ended yesterday at like 80, right, chat? So, not doing too bad. They're going to fuck up Steam when Gabe dies. I don't think they will at first. I think Gabe is going to try to do his best to keep Steam on the rails and on the right. But, you know, who's to say what happens years down the line when, again, like we were talking about this yesterday, it's like it's not Gabe's successor, it's Gabe's successor's successor. That it's like you just don't know, because Gabe will handpick the person that follows him, but what about the next guy, and then the next guy, and then the next guy? It's like eventually someone's going to get greedy. X is still doing fine. I know people don't like Elon and people don't like basically Twitter, but X is still doing great, and everything I've seen on Blue Sky is that Blue Sky's not doing so hot anymore. Because I've seen a lot of people have come back to Twitter. It's like, it's been one of those deals of just like, this keeps happening. There's always like people trying to replace the big social media giants, and it never really works because the big ones are so entrenched. And that's, honest to God, that's probably the biggest thing that worries me about Discord, is if Discord goes public and it shitifies itself, is it going to be like too big to fail? Where it's like, oh boy. The more influence the stockholders have, yeah. And it's definitely a thing. And I think a little bit that's also greed too, Cal, because it's like they want to put more of their stock up available for trade because they want more money. And so it's like a never-ending cycle. It was really funny too, seeing the whole like Ubisoft acquisition, because everyone was like, "Oh my God, Ubisoft is saved. They've managed to stave off bankruptcy." And I'm like, bro, they literally made a deal with the devil to do it. Like, imagine, if you will, chat, in order to stave off bankruptcy, you have to carve out a subsidiary and give your primary stockholder control of it, and that subsidiary has the rights to your biggest IPs. Ubisoft is basically a shell corporation now. It ain't looking too hot for them. The one good thing I can say is, in a weird way, that might actually save them. Or rather, it might save them from themselves. Because Ubisoft's biggest problem was Ubisoft. So, letting somebody else control it, whether or not you like Tencent, it's like, there ain't no way Tencent's going to do a worse job than Ubisoft was doing. Which games did Ubisoft have anyways? I'm trying to remember, because it's like, I think the entire Assassin's Creed franchise. Actually, let me go look it up, because this is easier to do. a new subsidiary focused on Ubisoft's biggest franchises, including Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. So, and what I've heard is that apparently the Tom Clancy rights are split. So, like, Rainbow Six is in the new thing, but not all Tom Clancy, like, products. However, I'm also going to point out, it's like, that means Siege is in there. And that just sounds like Tencent basically was like, you know what, your biggest games are now ours. Unreal, I don't know. Like we only really heard about the biggest ones. So maybe they still have other things that are not part of it. But yeah, it's like I don't know what to say about that, right? Like, because chat, so that you guys understand, right? Assassin's Creed Shadows, as far as we know, had about 4 million in sales. That's a very respectable number. It's much bigger than most other games usually achieve. And it's not unheard of for an Assassin's Creed game to get 10 to 20 million in sales. The only reason it's a bad thing is, one, because like overall that underperforms some of their other things, and two, the game cost them 300 million to make Assassin's Creed Shadows. So yeah, that ain't going too hot for them right now. But like, yeah, it's like, to me at that point it just looks like Tencent said, okay, everything that we think has promise, everything that we think can make some major revenue, put that in our subsidiary, we're going to take that. So things like Unreal Tournament, they may have just let them keep because they may have just been like, yeah, whatever. Like, we don't see that it has that much potential value in like the future, right? And I'm not saying that it makes like Unreal a bad IP or anything like that. That just may be them going like, it's not currently well established and like already has a functioning couple of games and stuff out there. Half of gamers have never heard of Tencent. Yeah. Which is sad. I think, like, to be fair, they're not the only ones, right? We have all these like venture capital firms that were forcing a lot of the like DEI stuff down the throats of the gaming studios and stuff. Now, it's still on the studios to accept it, so it is what it is. But what was happening with a lot of that is they had these programs where they would approach a studio, or vice versa, the studio would approach them, and they would say, listen, we will invest in your studio, in your next project. We will give you money to help you produce your next game. However, we will give you more money if you put these things in your game. So it was like an incentive program. And that's why you started to see a lot of that stuff. Even if you were maybe a studio that didn't want to put that sort of thing in your game, you basically found yourself going like, but man, I can get more money if I do. So it's sort of like it compromised the original vision of a lot of these games. $1.6 million to last Mystic Code done. Nice. Yeah, at least now I can start on the summer 1 Mystic Code on JP. It now feels like we are in the opposite tilt of the pendulum, where the DEI people have become the DEI people. Wait, I'm confused. What do you mean the DEI people have become the DEI people? But no, like, yeah, it does feel like we're going the opposite way. Or rather, at least that the pendulum has swung to the opposite direction. Because I think a lot of the studios are beginning to try to back off of it. I think a lot of the players are just like, they're finally like, they've had it. They're not doing it anymore. And so it's like, if they try to push that stuff out there. Now I'm going to say this, okay? I see a lot of people that are like, oh, you've got a female lead in your game, that's DEI. You've got a black character in your game, that's DEI. That shit's not DEI. I'm sorry. Like, you can have these people in your game and it's perfectly fine. Usually, to me, what makes these things a problem is when they're subverting the actual game's like vision with it. Where you sit there and you go like, this is so ham-fisted, so forced that it's a problem. Yasuke ain't DEI? No, Yasuke is. Yasuke 100% is. And you can look at that and you can ask yourself why Yasuke was chosen. And there's your answer. Okay, they'll sit there and they'll try to claim it's like, oh, because he's an interesting character that we didn't know a lot about. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's like every single one of your prior games both had a protagonist that was not an actual historical figure and originated basically in the area that the game was from to some degree, right? Like somebody that naturally should have been there. I saw somebody tried to claim that a repudiation of this was Black Flag because what was it? It was Edward, whatever his name was. It's like, oh, he's not from the Caribbean, and it's like, okay, but like most pirates were English sailors, so like, huh? It's like I don't know that one actually like does repudiate it. The studios got bailed out from their bad business decisions just because they made DEI so dumb. Yeah, and I think that's a lot of what it is. It's like at the root core of it, and the reason so many people began to become so vehemently like angry about the subject is because games were just getting made into slop. They were just crap. And it's like you had your high hopes for this game, and inevitably it's like somewhere back in there, like the entire plot got subverted to create this like Mary Sue character, this self-insert that you're just like, why? Like, this is just stupid. It's just terrible writing. It's terrible directing. It's terrible game design. And you realize that, and you're just like, you're so disappointed in it. And it's like, it happens once and you're just like, you're upset. It happens twice and you're like, not again. It happens 3 times. You're like, all right, this is getting ridiculous. This shit needs to stop. And that's the problem, is we weren't on the 3rd time. We were on like the 50th time. So it was getting to the point where it's just like, stop. And I'm a firm believer in, if you're going to make a product, you should listen to the consumer. And I say this as like my YouTube videos, right? Like, if I'm going to produce a YouTube video and you guys are all like, that video sucked. Cad, what are you doing? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? I'm going to read those comments and I'm going to be like, shit, are they right? Maybe I should do that. But I think in a lot of these cases, instead what you've seen is you've seen a rejection, a denial, and a tendency to point the finger. It's like, no, the game wasn't bad. All of the fans are racist. All of the fans are misogynist. All of the fans are like, and it's just name calling and shifting of the blame and taking no responsibility for the product that you made. And it's like, I'm sorry, at the end of the day, there's got to be some sort of responsibility being taken on behalf of the person that made the crappy game. I don't care who it is, but this happened enough times, and they kept willfully ignoring the consumer over and over and over again, despite the consumer yelling at them that it was bad and they needed to change it. Can't 100% listen to the fans either. Yeah, I think it's like when a fan complains, you need to listen to the complaint and then gauge why the fan is complaining and whether or not the complaint has merit. And I'm going to say, after a while, if enough people are complaining, you can throw merit right out the window. Because clearly there's merit. If everyone's complaining, you have your answer. The question is the why and what can you do about it? And so it's like, sometimes, like I've had this discussion with Bob many times. Bob will tell you, it's like, the mantra is always that like fans are really good at pointing out when something is wrong and they're terrible at figuring out how to fix it. And I think that's to a degree true. But not every fan is an idiot, and some fans can give you some pretty good ideas about how to fix stuff. But it doesn't mean you listen to like everybody saying it. Try to think of a good example of this. If chat knows one, feel free to speak up, because I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head, and it's just like I'm brain blank basically. Tekken 8. I didn't hear what the issue was with Tekken 8 other than they like did some balance changes or something. Resident Evil has this problem where they listen to fans that don't know Resident Evil and try to change its identity to something else. That's why people hated Resident Evil 8? I thought people loved Resident Evil 8. Like, hold up. I don't know. This one doesn't pass the smell test.
Think positively.
Just saying. They were concerned about the direction 8 was taking. Sure, and I get that, right? But yeah, it's like, hey, add more defensive moves. Yeah, it's just like, to a degree, if your fans are complaining, you have to look at the reason why they're complaining. And I think that's where like the finger pointing and the blame comes from, because I think they basically are being like intellectually dishonest and trying to like make the claim of like, oh, well, the reason the fans are complaining is because they're a bunch of racists or because they're a bunch of misogynists or something like that. It couldn't be that like there's no inward reflection. There's no thought of like, wait, did I write a bad character? Is this on me? Did I do this? They don't stop and ever think about that. They're so sure of themselves, and they basically are just going to say, no, it's because the fans are wrong. And it's like, the fans aren't wrong. When the majority of your fans have a complaint about your product, the fans aren't wrong, because they are the product. They're who you're trying to tap into. So, okay, I'll give you guys an example of this. Warhammer. Female custodies. No. Like, when the majority of your fans are telling you that you're wrong, you should listen to them. That's probably a good idea, because you, in the effort to try to reach a new fan base, you risk alienating the existing fan base that you have that helped you build to the point of where you are and has been continuing to support you. It's like, you can do that. That can be a strategic move that you can make, but you have to understand there are repercussions for doing that. And like, then they sit there and they go like, oh, the whole reason Warhammer fans don't want it is because Warhammer fans are misogynistic. And then Warhammer fans go like, what do you mean? Because there's so many like females in the universe and ones that they find badass and awesome. So it's like them sitting there going like, what are you talking about? Why are you saying these things? Of course not. It's the same thing with Star Wars, and you have a female lead for like the new sequel trilogy, and everyone's like, well, that shit sucked. And then they're like, oh, it's because they're misogynists. And it's like, no, it's because your writing for the character was bad. You literally just tried to rehash the original trilogy, and you didn't even do it well. You got to balance it, yeah. You don't double down and try to gaslight your established fan base, right? Like, that's what I'm gonna say. Is like, I think there's room for debate. I think there's a point at which, like, you know, maybe the fan base is being unfair to a degree. Like, I'll give you guys an example of this. The fan base was way too hard on Starfield. Way too hard. Fan base is absolutely unfair to Starfield. Absolutely, no doubt in my mind. However, was Starfield a 10 out of 10 game? No. Did Starfield have problems? Yes. So the fan base is right that Starfield was a problematic game. They just were way too overzealous about trying to stomp it into the ground. So that's where it's like sometimes you have to see through the veil a little bit and see it's like, why are they complaining? And some complaints might not be a legitimate complaint. Like, again, if someone's going like, man, I really hated Rey in Star Wars. Why? Because she was a woman. That's not a legitimate complaint. If someone's going, man, I hated Rey in Star Wars. Why? Because she was a Mary Sue. That's a legitimate complaint. You should listen to that person. It's like there are some that you can see. It's like, okay, that's not legitimate. I don't need to pay attention to that. But then there's others where it's like, hey, maybe there is something here. Maybe I should be paying attention to what they're saying. This event is buggy. Yes, it is, Ward. Yeah, the rolling apparently is got issues. Smart devs and writers know how to do this, but those are few and far between now. Yeah. And I think that's just a problem in general with the industry. Honestly, I say with the industry, it's a problem with society right now. Society is going to have to get past that. Like, it's going to have to get past the idea of like, oh, if I disagree with something that somebody said, they are now like the worst iteration of whatever I can think of. Like, oh, you don't agree with me? I'm going to dehumanize you. Starfield was a victim of its own setting. It was, but it wasn't. And the reason I say this is because we knew for a fact that going into Starfield's launch that there were like hate groups for Starfield already made up that were getting ready to literally review bomb the game before it ever came out. So when you start hearing that, you start realizing it's like, okay, some of it's not legit. Some of it is just people are butthurt for whatever reason and want to dog the game. That's them never giving the game a fair shake, right? But did the game have issues? Yeah, it did. Like it's not a perfect game. So at the end of the day, you look back at that and you go like, okay, what then is a legitimate complaint versus what is like somebody just being a hater that was never going to like it in the first place? And that's where you've got to realize. So let's take the female custodies issue again, right? You can side with the original group of fans and say, you know what, you're right. Our original lore says that there can't be females in this particular group because we have plenty of females elsewhere in our IP. And, you know, we don't want to risk upsetting our current fans. Or you can side with, quote unquote, the new fans and basically be like, no, the original fans are wrong. We're changing the lore. We're going to have females in that role, and it is what it is. Problem is, if you side with the new fans, you piss off all the old fans. If you side with the old fans, you piss off a group that hadn't actually become a fan yet. One of these is the much smarter decision. The much more logical decision. Because unfortunately, for better or worse, a lot of the people in this group are fake. They're not actual real fans. They're just culture warriors that are kind of bandwagoning on stuff. The original fans are the ones you need to listen to in any of these situations. And I'm dead serious. Like it doesn't have to be Warhammer. You can apply this to any IP out there. Who you should listen to is always your original fans at the expense of newer fans. Always. And the reason why? Money. That's why. You should always listen to the original fans over the new ones. Because the new ones aren't invested in your shit yet. They're not going to give you money. You have to be smart how you grow your fans, yeah. People that praise but don't spend, yep. Have you seen BattleTech Gothic? It's kind of controversial in the BattleTech community. I never have, no. What about OnlyFans? If you're an Only fan, then you probably are only a fan, and you will never be anything but that. So that means you're just basically drinking the Kool-Aid constantly on it, right? Oh, peaceful. The cat, they wanted female super soldier and couldn't come up with any other idea for it, right? Like, that's what's so funny to me is like, if you wanted to do that, you could have just come up with a new faction. You didn't have to like ram it into an existing one. And that goes back to the point we were making the other day about hijacking. It's like, they can't come up with it. They're not creative. They just want to hijack something that was originally creative. And then they just destroy it in the process. Which, I'm at the point where I'm beginning to almost get like conspiracy theorist on this and be like, that's really all it is. They just want to destroy it. They either want to change it or destroy it. And they don't care what the outcome is. They're playing a zero-sum game. Because they just go like, well, we don't like that thing is not for us. So we're either going to make it for us or we're going to destroy it in the process so that it's for no one. New fans won't like your stuff anyways. They always complain about stuff. Yeah. I mean, I think you can apply the same thing to Star Wars, right? Like, oh man, Star Wars is in trouble because none of their merchandise is selling. Gee, I wonder why. It's almost like the quote-unquote fans of the sequel trilogy don't actually care about Star Wars. Because if they did, they would be supporting it by buying the sequel trilogy merch, but none of it's fucking selling, so why is that? Well, it's because the people that bought the merch were all of your original fans. Like, I'm gonna be real with you guys, like, outside of buying the occasional Star Wars video game, I can't tell you the last Star Wars item I purchased. It's been that long. And I'm somebody that, chat, I have an entire wall full of Star Wars games from back in the day. I have an entire bookshelf full of the Star Wars EU books. Like, the fact that I'm not buying anything anymore is not a good thing for them. And not because, like, oh, I'm in a bad financial situation and can't afford it. Oh, not because I don't have an interest in Star Wars anymore because I grew up or something like that. Like, no, I'm the epitome of who they should be trying to target, and they're not. It is what it is. Books? What books? Oh, I have like the entire Thrawn trilogy all the way through. Like the mainline EU storyline. All the way through the Yuzang Vong arc. I think it goes on even beyond that, but I don't have any of that stuff. Star Wars action figures? Dude, I have Star Wars action figures from back in the day. I need to tell my mom not to throw those out. Because I guarantee you some of that shit's worth something. Would be the Lego Falcon? Yeah. Yeah, as far as I understand it, Lego is the only Star Wars merch that sells now. Which is really funny. They complained so much for Stellar Blade, but it did sell well. Yeah, I saw so many people trying to like dunk on it and be like, "Oh, it's not game of the year. It didn't sell that well." It's like, you realize it's like it's an initial offering in a very saturated genre, and it was profitable and actually like did pretty well for an initial offering. It's like by every metric it is successful, and you're trying to shit on it. It's like, I don't know what you want. Don't you hate Batman not shooting people? Bro, I love like super soldier Batman just coming in with his assault rifle and, you know, Gatling gun. New Sith and stuff, yeah. Well, I think that held Stellar Blade back was being console exclusive. Yes, I agree with that. Which, did they ever release Stellar Blade on PC? I think they did, didn't they? God damn it. All right, chat. One more. I told you guys I'd still scuff. I think they're planning to release it on PC. Yeah, they should. Yeah, I've heard Expedition 33 is doing good. I just like, chat, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I have so many games I need to play, plus we're in the middle of a lotto. Plus I'm working extra hours right now. So like that is one of those deals where, you know, I'm not gonna say like I'm not gonna pick it up, but I will just wait until like, I don't know, till I have more time and get more stuff off my plate. I think I have it on my wish list. Let me double check. Oh, I don't. Interesting. Oh no, I do. That's weird. Normally it has an icon on the list if it's on your wish list. Whatever. And Meanderthal, enjoy your gift sub. It's not worth fighting for. Such a classic. They have a Jango Fett starship. I saw that. So, chat, for reference, they put out Jango Fett ship as like Lego, right? Jango Fett ship is iconic, and it has a name. It's not referred to as Jango Fett ship. It's called the Slave One. And it's hilarious because I think, what did they tried to call it by its model name, which is the fire spray, I think. And it's like, yes, it is a fire spray class fighter, but it's Boba and Jango Fett's version of it, which is specifically called the Slave One. So it's like them not calling it that it's just them trying to be PC. And it's like, I get it, but it's like, come on, man. Like, can't wait for Slave 2. Yeah, I've heard like they're even doing that stuff with like, is it coding? Because in coding, don't you have like master and slave terminology? And like people are trying to get like PC about that stuff. Did you just say the S word? Yes. I think it's stupid that you can't say some of these words, in the sense that like, obviously, like, yes, we understand the connotation. We understand it was bad. But like, you're basically dooming this to like thought policing and speech policing forevermore at this point, rather than just moving on from it. Someone wanted to change that in programming. Yeah. Wait till they learn about binary numbers. There are only two. But yeah, it is what it is. I think the world a little bit has gone like crazy on some of these things. People basically can't handle concepts that they don't like existing, and they just want to like get rid of it. And it's like, you can't. It's an idea. And like, if you guys think back to it, right? Because I think like back in November last year, again, we watched V for Vendetta. And the entire idea of V for Vendetta is that you can't kill an idea. It's an idea. It will persist no matter what you do. The only way to get rid of an idea is to get rid of literally everybody that thinks the idea. And it's like, I know, let's do that. It's like, okay, so in order to get rid of an idea you don't like, you're just going to commit genocide. What? Like, that's not a good thing either. People are hypersensitive. Yeah. We gotta like get back to the point as a culture where we do have a little bit thicker skin, and it's like we just understand that tone and context mean a lot more, where it's like, you know, if you're sitting there talking about Boba Fett's Slave 1, you're not trying to be derogatory, versus somebody that's like sitting there to your face calling you a slave, they're definitely trying to be derogatory, right? Like, I think everything matters more in that perspective. It's like, you know, somebody trying to tell a joke isn't necessarily trying to offend you. And that's where we see it's like comedy has just died out over the last like decade or two here, because it's like nobody can make jokes anymore because people get upset. Remember the 5th of November. Be like the army no matter what. If you're black, white, male, or female, you're all equally worthless. Yeah, to a degree. I talked to Chad about that yesterday. It's like, everybody is special. Everybody is worthless. And that's something that really needs to be understood. It's like nobody's more special than anyone else. Nobody is more worthless than anyone else. We're all just equal in our worthlessness. But it's like what makes you special is like what makes you, right? Like you're an individual, you're different than somebody else. That's what makes you special. But also, you don't matter more than anyone else does. And that's like a little bit, that's how I was raised. And I was just raised to be comfortable in my own skin. I get that for some people it's hard though. I completely understand that. And that's why, like, to me, what has always and will always matter more is, like, more so than words, it's how you treat people. It's like how you treat people is what truly matters at the end of the day. Keep seeing this in FGO support list for events. What is up with setting up 3 lists and only having 2 to 3 characters per list and everything else be blank? I'm gonna be real with you. I can only kind of guess the mentality behind that. And the mentality is that people both don't want to go to the effort of setting up all 3 support lists, but also people view it as like they don't want to clutter the support lists. And that's it. That's the only example that I can think of for why people do it. Me personally, I just have my 3 support lists always there. And it is what it is. Because most people only pick supports, so it's minimizing. Yeah. But then it does suck when it's like, oh man, I needed this other character. So like, for instance, right now, I think I have an MLB on my Squirtoria. I think I have an MLB on my Jarcher. And it's like, in case someone wanted to use them, right? Like, not everybody is, but in case you did, there you go. And Fearless, thank you for the 1 year. It really has been that long. Chat, can we get some love for Fearless's 1 year, Annie? I've seen Full Metal Panic a few times. I get it, Fumofu. Yes. Full Metal Panic's great. Oh no, it's a pendulum, Peaceful. It's gonna swing. I think like people are becoming more like to some degree upset about things, but there is going to be a cooling off period where like everyone will realize that we just need to take a chill pill and be more accepting of each other in general. God damn it. I didn't stagger the cards again. Like this, I need to just do something to basically make it so Gil can't leave 2 enemies alive. Level his CE, that's basically what I'm thinking. Or, well, I have something else I can do. Culture wars are probably here to stay, at least for our lifetime. To some degree, yeah. I think like everything gets magnified by social media. What I would predict in the future is that social media finally gets like actually accepted for being the toxic thing that it is, where it's like people become more aware of the fact that it's like not good for you. And I think at that point, then maybe you'll see a changing of the like mentalities on this stuff. But I scuffed my run seeing your scuff, yeah. And it's like people are going to argue, right? That's always been a thing. But what I think you're going to begin to see is I think you're going to begin to see a march towards civility again. Basically away from... I'm just gonna go ahead and swap that right there. Like away from this whole like more extremist approach to everything. Kind of need to kill Yagyu because he's got the dodge. Ooh, just barely. Yoink. Just let Kuro handle it. I'm gonna give him gold foes, or are you grailing him? No, I'm not doing either of those. There's something chat probably hasn't realized about my caster gill. Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to leave the lotto. Actually, no, I did mean to leave the lotto. No, I've already done the rank up for him. It's this, chat. Yeah, I had been penny pinching the lores on him, but he's worth it. He's in a much better state now, and I have the lores to spare, so that's exactly why I keep spare lores. Low, 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 low. I hear there's a lot of bug. Yeah, it's for rolling out. The first 10 boxes have a graphical glitch, and then apparently some people are experiencing a like actual hard crash once they get to the 100 spin. Okay, surely you leave nobody alive now since I gave you 2% more arts. Technically, I would have gotten ever so slightly more damage. I would have gotten 2.1% more attack up if I had leveled a second skill, but I was like, I don't know. I feel like going with the arts is better because it gives regen potential. Have a workaround. So what are you doing to get around it? Because people are saying that it only happens if you try to roll the 100 spin twice in a row. So I guess like you can go in, roll it back out, go in, roll it back out. But I mean, I would at that point, like that's just going to take you so much time that I would just wait. 2%, by the way, yeah. Is there even a 6C comp for the 90++? Yes, there's several. They're just kind of nasty. Nice. Congrats on the drop. Hit the scroll bar on the right. You can move to the next roll and keep doing that over and over. Okay, that's funny. Whee! Okay. That's all you can do. Yeah. It's not deloading the previous spin properly. Yeah, I can see that. All right, so that time he only left one alive, chat. Have I done it? Have I defeated chat? Can chat not make me scuff now? I think I've got it, chat. I no longer owe chat money. Neo plug suit damage is better than plug suit damage. That is true. Depending on your level of your Neo plug suit. That I may have just fucked myself. Cad's grown too powerful. Yeah, but Cad didn't press the Mystic code there. The hubris. Yes. Oh no! No! Not both of them. God damn. Oh, that was karma. That was immediate karma. Holy crap. Shioriya Yumi. Enjoy your gift sub. Flew too close to the sun and got burned, yeah. No, I had a hilarious clip back in the day of, I think it was in Babylonia. It was me fighting Ishtar on, was it my JP? I don't even remember. But like, I was like, oh, I've got you now. And I was like, now she's definitely gonna die. And then literally, actually, I don't even think it was Babylonia's story. I think it was literally like a interlude or something that I was doing it in, but I don't know. But essentially she had her invuln popped and I didn't notice it. And I like popped all my shit and fired it in, and then it was like, oh, it dealt no damage. And I was like, fuck. So that's definitely one of those. Damn, he really, despite me giving him an upgrade, bro be min rolling now. He be trying to leave shit alive. Harken, harken the hubris bell. More like the shame bell. Hoist by his own petard, yes. Okay, this time I can't fail. She served you some humble pie, pretty much. There we go. It's so clean. Now I don't have to level a second CE. You've vacuumed it. Preposterous! I, Vacoob, would never fail. Ishtar just casually asserting her dominance. Yeah, casually. I will kill what I wish, pretty much. What's with all these minerals? What the hell? Yeah, let me be right back. I'm just gonna get some ice for my drink. Ugh. Okay. And by ice, I meant spray myself as I forgot that the water was on. I'm getting karmic feedback everywhere. I've been using Billy. Oh, there we go. Payment for my crimes. I have summoned a monster card. So here's what's really funny, chat. I can step back to a 5-slot with this, and I cannot make Jarcher deal more damage than she already does. It's kind of annoying, honestly. Because the problem is the end wave is just the end wave like gets way more bang for your buck out of the writing niche that the MLBC has. Fujino also gets her power mod. Yeah. Yep. There we go. We go check support setup here real fast. Ooh, how did that blank one? Interesting. I don't think it matters. Not on this setup. See, you guys can see I still have my old Cs in here, but I'm just gonna assume it's like no one's probably using those at the moment. So it's like I've kept it to like, oh, okay, hey, I've got it on an archer, yada yada yada. And I'll eventually fill them out. Because Lord knows I'll get enough Cs to do it. Okay, so that's on Summer Skadoodle, not OG. Reigns and Bride. Yeah, I think that's actually appropriate. That'll keep my OG Scotty from showing up on people's lists for right now. Hit the funny number box. Nice. And then the 2 supports and Jarcher. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I could put it on him, but I don't think he's that useful in this round. I think Taiko Bo is a little offset at the moment. That's what I'm saying. Is like the problem is even if I were to do something like say, where is it? Like Ocean Flyer here. Ocean Flyer's not gonna like deal significantly. It will literally almost not deal more damage on Janu because both C's are 2000 attack, and this one's giving 15 in P strength and 8% arts card effectiveness for a total of basically 23%. Now, don't get me wrong, this is different types, so they are multiplicative together with each other, but like I've literally got 30%, and the multiplicativity is not going to be enough on those two to outweigh the 30% from the Rider power mod. So it's just, it is what it is. And what I can do is I can give that to Gil for the time being, and Gil will just be a little bit more robust. Or I guess if both those two now have an MLB, so they don't actually need charge support. So do I have somebody that could enhance damage for Jarcher more and still take out a wave? Who isn't named Oberon? Yeah, I would just have to use the Mystic Code if that's the case, and I'm already... Like, I don't know that it'd be enough considering I'd lose out on the damage potential from a Mystic Code. Helena? I mean, yeah, potentially, right? Damage sheet doesn't work? No, she's got 20%, 40% from her own, and she's technically getting another 20% from Gil. So, she can basically like get 80% on her own, but it's not enough for her to be able to start from 0. Eliza's not going to amplify more than Gil. Although, wait, what is her? Her should be, is it good summer? Lawful summer. Yeah, she's not neutral, which Eliza gives NP damage to neutral. Cash Gil's not grailed. Yeah, no, Gil's not the problem. I need Jarcher to do ever so slightly more damage. But it's like impossible to get Jarcher to do slightly more damage without like plug suiting. If only John's attack wasn't so low. Yeah, I mean, I could grail Jarcher. That'll probably eventually happen, but like right now, use Mage's MC. We can give it a try. I just hate that it's targetable. So, like, the entire reason why I'm using plug suit chat. Actually, yeah, no, that. I don't even know that it matters. But the entire reason why I'm using plug suit is because I don't have to target anything with the skill. Like, and it's still, it's like, it's just barely not clean, right? If only we had the new Mystic code that gives 20% charge. See the 100? Yeah, he does. All right, let's try it. We do not have the Mystic code yet, yeah. Okay. At least this way I get to do everything on turn 1. So in that regard, may not be worse. I've already done 40 boxes and I still can't make him MLB a drop C. I didn't MLB my first one until like... I think it was around there, actually. General. Thank you for the 68. General, do I have your permission to put your MLBing graphic in our guides in the future? I was talking to Chad about I was like, man, I really should like ask General if we could put this in. Yes, sweet. I'll ask Avalon the next time I see him. All right, so now can Jarcher do enough? Given that I have sacrificed 30% power mod and 40% mystic code damage. Okay. Maybe. Maybe. Let's see if that's consistent. That graphic had way more life than I expected. I know. It's because people don't like to have to think about it too much. Was that the low end or the high end, right? I always assume it's high until I see a second one. Can you do it with a drop C? What I'm doing now? Yes. Yeah, I mean, my Jarcher's an MP5, though, so... Are all of your Mystic codes at 10? Yes. And have been. 6 slot gong, no? I don't know that I would want a gong. Gong would just slow this down. Oh, I didn't give her the charge there. His NP is faster? Oh, sure, but I need the extra damage output for Jarcher. 380. Okay, so that was 5k more. Signaling to me on turn 2 is a little annoying for charge. I mean, I think I'm doing good. Given what I'm running. Like, chat, I'm only at 5 slot because I MLB'd just now. I was wondering if I can get it back now. My Discord account is fine now. Yeah, have you tried again? Like, are you sure you're banned and not just kicked? Because usually what I do, if your account gets hacked, we kick you. Though, admittedly, sometimes I'm not the one who does it. Like, one of the mods does it, and then they might actually ban you. So, like, it's fine. I can definitely get it done, but I would just, like, try it again and see if you haven't already. I haven't tried yet, yeah. I mean, type in ! Discord. On 5 slotting for copy 21. Is that your last one? Oh, I didn't see. Chat, how much did that one do? I wasn't looking at the screen right at that moment. 370? Okay, so we've got a 370, a 375, and a 380. It's perfect. I do like that at least this variant lets me do everything turn 1. That's nice. $21 out of 25 copies, I got you. Yeah, people usually refer to it as drops. So, like, the first 4 are guaranteed, not considered a drop. You can simply plug someone like Mozart to Amper. Yeah, like, I am literally just, like, I'm being the maximum amount of lazy possible. I want chat to understand that. This is, like, advanced whale comp, like, me big, bad, lazy, fat ass. Me no want to do anything. Don't make me press a button. I will get sweaty. So that's how I usually like to design my comps. This is why when people ask me, like in a lotto, hey Cad, what do you know what comps you're using for lotto? I'm usually like, no, because I just sit there and tinker with them constantly. And I just keep trying. Okay, that was a low roll. That was 359. So that means that the 375 first roll was actually high end. But even 359 clean cleared, so we're good. Less buttons equal less mistakes, surely? Yeah, surely. I mean, to be fair, getting Draco out of the comp actually helped with that because I had a bad tendency, like, playing with you guys to sit there and be like, oh, hey, I'm tapping over here, but somehow I've actually managed, like, on that specific tap to jump over a little bit, and now I hit the middle skill. Or, like, worse, I'd be trying to hit the middle skill, and it'd be like, oops, tee-hee, I hit the third skill first. And then that would actually, like, brick the run. And that was literally, like, one of the only ways I could scuff. Yeah, getting Oberon out of a comp's actually really nice. Because, like, you don't run the risk of bricking a character, and when you can't brick a character, then even if it fails, the run is still usually, like, pretty easy to, like, salvage. But when you brick a unit, it gets really nasty sometimes. Especially if they're, like let's say it's, like, a single damage dealer comp, and they're, like, the only unit in the comp that's actually effective. That starts to get nasty. Yeah, so I think 359 is about the low end. 383 there was the high end. We've pretty much already, like, within about 5 runs here, we've got our entire, like, damage variance. Don't use this last skill. Yeah, pretty much. Although I think the original comp I was running for this Oberon used his skill turn 1 and just bricked himself. Which was only a problem if I got more Oberon cards. Gotta give Draco her sippy grail. Yep. Her big gulp. Oberon MP damage is super low. It's actually not terribly bad, but the problem is a lot of people have like NP1 Oberon, and yeah, I mean NP1 of a lot of units is not too great. I think the real thing that really hurts with Oberon is like, let's say you lowballed on another character, you just card it out. On Oberon, you don't get to card it out. Like, unless you have Invuln Pierce somehow, Oberon just gonna not be able to do anything. Yeah, so this is good. This really cut down on the amount of carding that this comp was doing. So this will make it very fast, at least, to get back to whatever the next drop is. Which I have no idea how many drops I'm on now. Now I've, what, triple MLB? So this is wild. I went from like 1 MLB to triple today. And we're not even done. Less buttons than a plug suit setup? Yep. That's usually why I do it. Like, at least the good part about Kuro is I only have to press one button on her, which is nice. That really helps the amount of button presses. It says unable to accept invite. Okay, let me look. What is your Discord name? Alter Noah? Never heard of him. How do I see the bands? There's a way to see the bands. Is it under server settings? Yep, there we go. Bands. Oh, there's a list of names I just don't want to ever see ever again. Okay, that's weird, because I don't show you... Is that your actual... Oberon NP into Muramasa crit chain? Yeah, like something like that where Muramasa has the Invuln Pierce can work. Yeah, I'm not showing it on the server ban list. Did you ever go by anything else? Now what? Okay, hold on. Let me just get this comp rolling. Boom, bam, boom, 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 bam, boom, boom, boom. Nope, nothing for that either. Must go away. Are you sure you haven't like are you able to access other servers right now on Discord? Are you sure your account's not like locked out from like being able to join servers? I'm in the others. Did you make a new account by any chance? You don't know my kind. Dark necessities are part of my design. I love Red Hot Chili Peppers. Is very skater. Yeah, I mean, Red Hot Chili Peppers are very skater. The hell do I press? Yeah, it happens. Usually I'm pretty cognizant of where I am in a run, but yeah, basically I don't know what to tell you, Noah, because like at least as far as I can tell, you are not appearing on my ban list for the server, and we don't have that many people on the ban list. Most of the people that even are banned are like actual botters. Weird, I can try again tomorrow. Yeah, the only thing I can say is if you'll do me a favor and, well, Ash, are you around? Maybe I clicked the link too many times. Yeah. But I want to see if I can get like Ash or Avalon to basically like help you out some, because they might be able to figure out something that I can't see. Okay, so that's really weird because I show an Alter Noah on the server as of 9 minutes ago. Is that like your alt account that you were just testing with, or? Oh, good. I just got to kick a spammer. I love that Discord flags people that are spamming. Good news and bad news. Give me the bad news first. No, I only have one. Well, I mean, it shows that 10 minutes ago you joined the server, so it'd be what it be. All right, this is the chat. What I'm about to show you is really crass. Steve sent it to me, but it's technically not inappropriate for stream. Okay. So these are our reviews for the new Oblivion Remastered. I just like how 4 of the 5 are Todd Howard in disguise. Yeah, that was the whole thing with Kanye. Apparently that got revealed that he actually did that, and then you're like, oh god. One of these doesn't sound like an opinion? I don't think it is. Yeah, Ash, you got him. Doing the upside down pose. It's taking a long time for my next CE to drop. That's the thing. It's like, you know the saying, the watched pot never boils? The more you keep waiting on a CE to drop, the less it's going to drop. Just put it out of your mind. Every single piece of information I have learned of Kanye has been against my will. Does kind of feel like that's how he does things, right? So chat, who here is actually playing the new Clara Expedition 33 game? Probably wait for a sale, yeah. I'm playing Avowed, how are you liking it? I know a lot of people liked Avowed at first and then thought it like all of a sudden they were like, oh wait, it doesn't actually have any depth. So I've seen really like mixed things about it. Speaking of which, chat, we watched a new anime at lunch today. It was Hotel Apocalypse or Apocalypse Hotel, whatever the heck it's called. It was actually really good. We watched the first 2 episodes. Not the Gorilla Girl one? No, not the Gorilla Girl one. It's gonna be really interesting to see people's opinion on Avowed now that Oblivion Remaster is out. I mean, it's kind of like I was saying the other day, like, I don't want to make it sound like Obsidian is a bad company or anything, but there has been a lot of like propaganda between Bethesda and Obsidian over the years, including people just being like, oh, but Obsidian actually is just better at making games than Bethesda is, when Bethesda basically provided all of the like architecture that Obsidian used to make the game. So it's like, I kind of feel like that's not fair to Bethesda in that regard, but also in a similar way, it's like, yeah, I mean, I think New Vegas is definitely solid. I think people really like it. But when you look at it now, it's like there was a lot of propaganda back a couple of years ago because reportedly Obsidian got upset because they offered and wanted to help Bethesda make an Elder Scrolls game, and Bethesda basically kept saying no. And people were like, what the fuck? Why not? Like, why would they do that? Why wouldn't they let Obsidian touch their baby like that? And I'm like, I think people tend to forget, like, just how long ago Fallout New Vegas came out. And it's like, the Obsidian today, and even a couple years ago, is not the Obsidian that released Fallout New Vegas. Like, there's been a ton of staff changeover in that time. So it's like, to me, like seeing kind of how this Oblivion remake has gone, seeing it getting done by Virtuous with the help of Bethesda constantly in the background, it makes you realize that like it's less about like Obsidian is this like super amazing like god tier studio, and more that like Bethesda probably can just outsource their crap and kind of like help supervise it and make it be done well, because they actually care to put the time and effort into doing it. So it almost makes it seem like Obsidian is not this super unique, amazing studio and more of a like dime a dozen type of thing. Oblivion Remastered hit 4 million copies sold. Yeah, which, I mean, given everything that's happened, like, fuck, man, at that point it's practically outsold whatchamacallit, Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? Which I do think you're going to still see like a ton of people that won't buy it because they just already have the older version on PC. Or they're like, you know, again, like from Talk with Prophet, it'll be people that are like, oh, I'm just waiting for like Sky Oblivion to come out on Skyrim and play through that. So there's going to be a ton of people that won't get it. And it is a remaster of a like 20-year-old game. So it is what it is. But I do think it's like, yeah, this kind of proves that it doesn't like not everything has to be Obsidian, and Bethesda is more than capable of helping another studio produce a good game if they want to. Can't wait for people to play Skyrim on Oblivion Remastered. That'll be funny if somebody starts like basically a reverse project like that. I think the issue at play though is that again, like Obsidian is still Obsidian underneath the engine. It's literally like there's nothing actually new. The game functions exactly like the original did. The only thing that has changed is the graphics, because they're running the graphics. They're basically converting the graphics at runtime through Unreal Engine 5. So it's almost like they've grafted like skin onto the face of the game, right? And at that point, I think like it is still going to have the limitations that the older version of the creation engine had. It's not going to be as moddable as something like, say, Skyrim. And that's going to cause it to have some limitations and some issues. So in that regard, yeah, it's an interesting idea, but I don't think you could necessarily like one-to-one Skyrim. It would require you to like go into the new engine and basically almost create things that weren't there in it. Oblivion, yeah. I'm joining on my phone, freaking PC, yeah. Yeah, sorry about this, Noah. I'm not sure why all of this is happening. But as best I can tell, you're not banned, so... It may just be some other, like, weird-ass feature. I will say the server does have, like, pretty high security on it, so, like, make sure that you've kind of, like, done everything that you need, like, account-wise for setting it up. Because that could be one of the reasons it's not letting you. We definitely have some pretty high barrier to entry. Get like 2-factor. Well, it could just be like, make sure the account is quote unquote registered and stuff. All the exploits still work with the remaster, which is funny. Yeah, Prophet was telling me the paintbrush one still works, which is... I've heard people reference the paintbrush glitch. I had no idea what it was. Like, Oblivion was my first Elder Scrolls game. I played it back in college, and I haven't played it since college. So, it's been a thing. It's been a while for me. I barely remember it. Lemonade, thank you for the 38. Appreciate it. Chat, can we get some love for Lemonade? Do you think Bethesda will change to a new engine with the next game? No. Because I think if they were going to, the Oblivion remake would be completely Unreal Engine 5, right? And I think the fact that it's just Unreal Engine for the graphics, like, you might see them do that again in, like, another remake or something like that, but I think they're going to stick with the creation engine, because I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. Like, chat, you know how like CD Projekt Red is switching from the Red engine to Unreal? That is less of a switch than Bethesda would be, because technically the Red engine doesn't really have anything proprietary in it. As far as I can tell, at least. Like, there's nothing that they do differently than other engines really do. It doesn't mean, like, the coding behind the scenes isn't different. It doesn't mean, like, the systems at play aren't different. But, like, when I look at, say, like, The Witcher or Cyberpunk, like, those games don't feel like they have any different systems than other RPGs and types of games have, right? And I mean like more like macro systems, like the way combat works, the way that like the inventory works, like the interaction with the world. None of that seems unexpected or different than other games. Like, it just may be more polished than other games are.
So them switching over to Unreal is probably not that big of a deal compared to the Creation Engine, which is a proprietary physics engine that no other game and engine out there has, and allows for you to manipulate loose objects in the world and ragdolls in ways that you can't do in other games. That is what really does make the Bethesda games unique. That is what gives them their charm to such a degree. And I feel like Bethesda switching from that would just make them a cookie cutter dime a dozen open world RPG at that point. And they would kind of lose any reason to kind of be at that point. So I can't really see them doing that. But we'll see, right? Pick a rubber band of the joysticks to level sneak, yes. I really like a Morrowind remaster. I don't think that's a crazy thing. Like, I think you could see a Morrowind remaster. Potentially, right? Though I do wonder, I do wonder if maybe the reason we're getting, like, Oblivion remake here is maybe because Elder Scrolls 6 down the line might be it might be a bigger project than we anticipate, right? Like, what if Elder Scrolls 6 is maybe like all of Cyrodiil or something? Then you start going like, huh, that's kind of crazy, right? And it would make sense that they would want to release Oblivion because Oblivion is the heartland of Cyrodiil. It's where the seat of the Empire is, and that's going to control so much of the greater continent of the world that I could see that they would want to make sure that Oblivion was a little bit more fresh in people's minds before they did a major project like all of Tamriel. Yeah. So I don't know. I was hoping for Hammerfell, not gonna lie. I mean, if what I'm saying is true, you would get Hammerfell, you would get Skyrim, you would get Morrowind, you would get literally like everything. So it does make me wonder if that's a thing, but we'll see, right? I'll say this: it wouldn't surprise me. Like, it probably depends on like what Virtuous is doing, but it wouldn't surprise me if they've immediately gone like, hey, Virtuous, you were so successful with this, we want you to make another remake for us. And it's like, on to the next one. We'll pay you buckets of cash. So Elder Scrolls Online 2, I'm gonna be real with you. There are 4 things that I want out of a new Elder Scrolls game. The first is I want a better character creator, frankly. I think like their character creator is not bad, but their actual like character models need some pretty desperate improvement. And I feel like if they can figure out a way to really revamp the way the faces look, the amount of customization you can do, particularly with like hair looks atrocious in their engine for some reason. So I feel like if they can do that, that'll help out a bunch. The second thing that I really want them to do is I really want them to have building in the game. I want you to have the ability to like make your own village / castle and become the lord of that. Like, I think that's something that is missing. Like, even if I go back to like Skyrim, there are a couple of mods that allow you to do very restrictive versions of that. And it makes sense because it's the next logical progression to just like owning your own home in the game. So that's one of the big things I want to see them do, because it give you a lot more like immersion in the actual game if they allow for that. From there, Let me think. What were my 3 ideas? From there, I want multiplayer. But not like multiplayer. I want the ability to like co-op with a buddy, like seamless co-op where they can just drop in and out if they want. That is probably really difficult to do in their engine. So that may be asking for a lot. But I would love for that to be the case. Even if it's like the buddy that's like there can't actually like gain levels or like make quest progression, it would still be fun to be able to like do stuff with your friends or bring them into your world and show them your shit, right? Wasn't there a co-op mod project for Skyrim? Yeah. So it's like they really need to figure out a way to do that. I feel like that's the next logical progression. And then the 4th thing, what was the 4th thing that I wanted? The 4th thing is just I want it to be bigger than Skyrim was. That like, not that Skyrim was small, I just want the game to get a little bit bigger. That's it. So it's like, if they go like all of Tamriel, that's insane, but like they don't need to do that even in my mind. They just need to go bigger than Skyrim was. Yeah, Atlas could do it really well. I think, and it's wild to me still that like Atlas and FromSoft have not like collaborated with Type Moon. It's insane to me that they haven't, because both of them are Sony related in effect, and both of them are friends of Nasu in effect. So it's really like weird to me that like Nasu just keeps trying to make Muso games and not like reaching out to some of his other dev friends. But I mean, honestly, it may be a case of like there's like a standing offer from those other two. Like maybe Atlas and FromSoft are like, yo, bro, if you ever want us to make a game, we will. And Nasu's just too damn busy to be able to handle it. But who knows? Why did I do that? That's literally muscle memory there, trying to activate the plug suit attack up. Maintaining consistent placement with tens of thousands of loose objects between multiple players in a shared world is a nightmare. Yeah. So from what I've heard, and this goes all the way back to whatchamacallit, Fallout 76. The issue that they had with Fallout 76 and making the game multiplayer is that in the creation engine, the way all the code is written, and you can see this if you go all the way back to Morrowind, right? So in Morrowind, let's say you have this. This is the player, okay? As the player moves throughout the world, the zone that is loaded around the player moves with the player as you go. This is not the way that most other games do it. Most other games have chunk loading, where they'll just be like, okay, we're going to load this next chunk because the player's headed in that direction. And the reason why is because everything refers to the player. Okay? So the reason multiplayer was so hard to do is because this is what they call in the coding as the Atom concept. The player is Atom, and everything checks based off of Atom. Everything. So if you talk to an NPC, it literally checks Atom to see if Atom has talked to that NPC before, if Atom has progressed their quest before. So instead of storing everything as a macro save file, everything is stored as a player save state. And like I said, everything refers to the player. So with regards to the NPC, what happens then when you have a player too? Well, the way the code was set up, a second player trying to interact with the first NPC would either just get a null value because they weren't Atom, or they would just be reset back to square one. Because even though Atom might have progressed, the second player had not. And the second player wouldn't be able to progress, which is really like So apparently it caused them major issues, and they had to rewrite a whole bunch of the code for Fallout 76 because of that. And still to this day, that's why, like, if you look back, if you guys remember, on the launch of 76, there were no NPCs. None. Not a single NPC existed in Fallout 76. Why? Because of that issue. Now, they eventually got around it and they figured out how to do it, but therein lies the problem, right? So that's just like one instance of why doing multiplayer in that engine is really freaking hard and really cumbersome. And like I said, my understanding is they did rewrite a bunch of that code. That code is like rewritten and repurposed for basically the Creation Engine 2. And that's what they use to make Starfield. I'm sure it's also what they're using to make Elder Scrolls 6. But the question is, can they actually do like seamless co-op and stuff like that in the new engine? I don't know. It would be in production hell for years because of Nasu's schedule. I bet not. To farm over 100 boxes in just one day? Oh yeah, it's definitely a thing. What are your Gil and Morgan NP levels? And yeah, the only reason I'm not using Koyami is because I've used Koyami in like, I think the past 2 lottos. So I was like, I'll give her a cooldown, because I did consider using her for this round. If it's 2 to 3 people, I don't think it'd be a problem. I'm gonna be real with you, it only needs to be 2 people. Like, if somehow doing the third person caused everything to break, that's fine. Don't include the third person. Just literally do 2 people at that point. Both at MP1? Nice. So what, are you using... You're using Koyan on wave 2? Because I can see why on like the Spriggan that would be a little bit difficult. Why did I do that again? Three stars in a plug suit to try to get more units to bond 6. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, lottos are always going to be, once you can do the node efficiently, it literally just gets down to like taste and like what you want to do, what your goals are with your individual account and units. Try to get to bond 10 on my arc. I mean, I've seen several people suggest me to run arc in this, and I'm like, I don't need to. There's going to be plenty of times I need to run Arcuid. It's like I've learned from playing on JP. It's like I'm not on a fast pass for Arcuid's bond. It'll get there. I just like using Arc as well. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that either. Arc double Oberon with 1 Koyan. See, that just sounds like a whole lot of work. Because double Oberon's a lot of button presses. At least I would think. Arc is like the only thing I can 6 slot with right now. Are you doing 90 plus plus or 90 plus? This is a Wuthering Waves song? Thought this was like a Disney song. I'm not gonna lie. I assume this is their anniversary song. That was like Has-Been Hotel or something. America's as buffed as you can get her. Yeah. Yeah, I only opted for Jarcher here because the possibility of doing an all arts comp and it potentially being more consistent than even Gil was why I was like, okay, wait, hold on, maybe. It's for 2.0 update. I mean, forgive me, I've not kept up with Woo-Wah, so is that like recent or a long time ago? Episode 3 of Star Wars in theaters today? Yeah, it's the 20-year anniversary, right? Honestly, it's both wild that it's been 20 years since episode 3, but also like, I don't know, in a weird way, I'm like nostalgic and happy for it. Because it's like, I think back to back when like Star Wars was good. And it's like, oh yeah, it's nice when like everyone was hype about Star Wars. And it wasn't just this clusterfuck. About 2 months ago-ish? Okay. It's no longer the redheaded stepchild. To be fair, like, I think most people still, even back then, while it did receive quite a bit of hate, I think most people still were like, it's good, and it was just the typical, like, it could be better mentality. Like, people wanted it to quote-unquote be as good as the original trilogy. And I'm like, in some ways, it definitely isn't as good as the original trilogy. But in other ways, it's better than the original trilogy. So it's like, in that regard, I think it's fine. I didn't have any issue with the prequel trilogy, other than, like, honestly, the script writing could have been better in some places. And I still feel like they're very enjoyable, very watchable movies, which, by the way, chat, I've been talking about this, will probably be, like, not this weekend, but probably next weekend while Lotto's still going on. We'll probably be watching, like, the Star Wars movies. Since it'll be May the 4th. Say what you want about the prequels. 3 is a really good movie. Yeah, I think all 3 of the prequel movies are good. And a little bit like the shitty dialogue choices being the only real bad part is also what makes it like so freaking memeable. Cad, we had to learn about the Trade Commission? Yes. You mean the Federation, but yeah. I don't like sand. It's rough and coarse and gets everywhere. Now this is pod racing. I'll try rolling. That's a cool trick. It's not something the Jedi would teach you. Like I can sit there and I can quote the prequels to hell and back. Ask me to quote the sequels. Bro, I can't fucking remember a single line from them. Traitor? Maybe, yeah. Somehow Palpatine returned. Okay, you're not wrong. There's some really bad dialogue in that. They fly now? Yeah. Well, it's really funny because people want to be like, Star Wars has politics in it. That's why it's always been about politics. It's like there's real world analogs to this stuff. I'm like, no, Star Wars has space opera politics, which is not meant to be a modern analog. So it's like I always laugh when I see people trying to like co-opt that shit for like, oh well, this is why I can make these stupid like allegories to like current day stuff, and you can't tell me not to do it because I should be allowed to because this story is completely about politics. And it's like, stop trying to ruin everything we love, please. Override the high ground. Well, that's definitely the prequels. Kind of like Gundam with politics, yeah. And like, you can tell in each of these shows, yes, they're trying to make a political drama, but they actually do try to make it not relatable to current events. And you can see that because they keep like changing the names into things that are like different. Like, so yeah, man, like Gundam absolutely relates to modern events, and that's why they named the faction the Principality of Zeon. Because, you know, like, man, chat, y'all remember all them principalities going after each other, right? Like, that was the thing. So it's like, you can tell they definitely wanted to get away from that stuff because they wanted just it to be an enjoyable experience and not something that like was trying to like drag you back into like modern real life shit. 9 has very fewer memes compared to all the other Star Wars movies. Movie's not even that good for memes. Yeah, most of the memes are just like, wow, I can't believe they actually said this dumbass shit. Neon Genesis Evangelion didn't even have politics. Yeah, sure. Sure. No politics. I mean, it's kind of hard to have politics when like the show is about getting in flesh mechs and incest. I remember Shining Fingers. Who was it? Who was it? Oh, Steve was watching G Gundam the other day. I don't know if he finished it. I need to ask him. I haven't been around to watch a lot of stuff with people, unfortunately. That's just been the problem of work lately. Yes, thank you, Jay. Gundam always discusses war. Yeah, the general, like, if you can say that Gundam has any sort of political message, it's the message that, like, war is bad and it just results in, like, everybody dying. It does feel like that's a message they always try to send in Gundam. No politics doesn't exist, only politics I agree with, yeah. That's all it needed. Mm-hmm. War is bad. Okay. Exactly. Wow, cool robot. Well, it's really funny because Gundam has a lot of tropes. Like, usually the deal with Gundam is some political faction backstabbed another political faction, sparking an incident, which finally gets the estranged war orphan to finally have enough of like the bullshit that's going on in his life and make a really stupid decision when all of a sudden a mech appears somewhere near him. He decides, you know what? Fuck my life. I'm going to hop in it. And then proceeds to try to take on the entire freaking world and end up resolving this entire conflict that instead escalates into a war. And then him and all of his friends either get injured or die in the process, but they beat the Uh-oh. It seems Big Gundam didn't like me talking about that. Okay, there we go. We're back. It's so funny that that doesn't mess with Aurelia. It messes with literally everything else. Wait, Aurelia, is that you? Are you destroying my computer? There we go. She likes Gundam, clearly. Let me fix my camera. Till it's gone. Okay, that should be fixed. Ugh. Okay, is everything fine, chat? Anybody notice anything off? Really, a new type confirmed. But yeah, it's like there's always some drama there. The orphan basically ends up like getting everybody killed in the process, but they triumph over evil in the end. And the moral of the story is stop creating war orphans. War bad. Either orphan or child soldier, yeah. But technically those two things are not exclusive. That being said, like, okay, chat, can anyone think of it? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know that I can. Out of all the Gundams that I've watched, was there ever a Gundam where the main character had both parents intact? I mean, I don't... OG? Did Amuro have both his parents? Okay, build fighters I could understand, because that one's absolutely made for kids. They were both alive but separated. Okay, so besides Build Fighters, has there ever been one where like they're both alive and they're all just a happy family? Can only but one be alive or both dead? No. Sponsored by Shinzo Abe. True. Happy families don't commit war crimes, Cad? Are you sure about that? How do you know? When was the last time you committed a war crime? Do you have a happy family? Last Tuesday? Me every time I go to the bathroom. This morning on the toilet. There you go, yeah. Taco Tuesday. The only thing I can think of is Build Fighters and Gundam Seed. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like they really don't do it. The child soldier / orphan is a really overdone trope in Gundam. You don't know about Shiro Amato's parents? That means there aren't parents. Just saying, chat. If you don't know about the parents, they don't exist. Because some shit went down. The new G Gundam manga is about some kid and his sidekick is Domon and Rain's daughter. And these last two are still alive. Does that count? No. Not if they're not parents. Because it's like, that's basically what they're trying to show you is that, like, you can still do things even if you don't have, like, a proper upbringing. But also at the same time, it's like, yeah, we have to have a reason that the child soldier goes off to fight. And one of the big reasons is going to be their parents aren't around. What am I listening to? Dragon half, yes. $99. So we are at 165 now. Not bad, all in a day's work. Oh, damn, that sounds like some Metroid shit there. It's that old, like, MIDI style of, like, sound. Cat Gundam Age is my counterpoint to your happy family question, checkmate atheist. Wait, which one was Gundam Age? But it's Sailor Moon singing? Oh, that's fine. The generational trauma one? Oh, God. I didn't know Cat was farming all day yesterday and today. What do you mean? I mean, I've definitely done a lot of farming already. Like I said, I'm done with my bronze. I'm done with my blues. Almost done with my silvers. We'll probably be done with silvers tonight. Dad becomes a pilot and his son becomes the pilot. Interesting. I don't know that I've seen that one. Did I miss one? Or were the Gundam before and after Age? How do you not have 150 boxes right now? I do. Do you slack off at work or something? No, it's really easy. Like, Chat, have you guys not realized that I'm literally not staring at the screen while I'm doing this? Like, that's how automated this is for me. And I don't mean automated as in like I'm botting. I mean like automated as in like I am literally like muscle memorying my way through it. Did I open any boxes yet? No. Four Age was Gundam 00, and then I believe Build Fighter was after? 00? No, 00 is super old. Oh, by the way, chat, did you guys see whose support I took this time? It was Bovis. Bovis is one of my oldest subs. You're talking canonical timelines or release order? Release order. Double Zero is like 2007. Yeah. That's super old, chat. That's going on 20 years ago. Just saying. 2009? Still. Oh my god, yeah. I know, it's crazy, right? Although that makes me happy because like a little bit that means we might get some 00 stuff. 00 is like my favorite Gundam. So wait, didn't it go like 00, then Gino Reconquista, then Unicorn, I think, is the order? It was made by level 5 of Inazuma 11. It was before G-Reco. Was it really? Wait, now Bob's saying it's the reverse. Wait. God damn it. I didn't press Gil's third skill. No! Ah! Ah! How? How did I not press his third skill? As proof that I'm not botting, chat. King Clown, enjoy your gift. Unicorn was movies first. Yeah, but the reason why I say this is I stopped watching Gundam with Gino Reconquista, and I have never seen Unicorn. So, like, that's why I'm saying, like, I assume Gino Reconquista came first. Ever see War in the Pocket from 1989? I don't think so. Unicorn is amazing. I've heard it's good. I probably need to like sit down and watch it. That may be a weekend project here. Unicorn was an OVA back then. Okay, yeah, so that would explain why I wouldn't have watched it. Yeah, that was like, honestly, that was like the golden time for Gundam for a while there. It was popping off for years and years and years. But like the problem that I had is I remembered I think it was I watched Gundam Seed. Gundam Seed took way too freaking long. Like it was good, but it took forever to wrap up. Because it was like 2 seasons of it, wasn't it? And I think there were like 50 something episodes. And then I sat down to watch Gino Reconquista right after that, and I was like, oh my god, like Gino Reconquista was just fucking terrible. Seed is good, Seed Destiny is terrible. It's not terrible, but it dragged on for a long time, and some of the like character arcs definitely don't end the way you want them to. Seed and Seed Destiny were 100 episodes, yeah. Netherlands Gundam. Listen, Neo Space Mexico is still the best. Nobody beats it, especially, yes, with Tequila Gundam. I have the DVD still for Unicorn. Nice. Yeah, I think maybe that's what I'll do this weekend. I have the first couple episodes of Andor to watch. So I'm probably going to sit down and watch that. But I think I'll also I'll try to pick up Unicorn. I bought the G Gundam box set mostly for the shot glass. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I've decided that like you guys can call it quacks. I am officially calling the new Gundam GQ. Did you watch the Netflix Gundam Vengeance? No. Like, basically, since Gino Reconquista broke me, I've been very spotty with watching Gundam. And I basically only watch Gundams that people tell me and insist are good. Now, that being said, I am watching, like, the newest season. I still need to watch Witch from Mercury. Witch from Mercury is good. I think the biggest criticism of Witch from Mercury is that there's not enough actual like combat in it. And I do think that's a valid complaint. But story-wise, the story from it's amazing. War in the Pocket is really good in only like 6 episodes. Interesting. Can definitely try to add that. That's because it's Shakespeare. Yeah, to a large degree. I enjoy Gundam Vengeance, but the ending was very forced. What was Vengeance? So was Vengeance the like... It wasn't the live action one, was it? Oh, no, it had that really like weird animation style, yeah. I think like me and Trubs watched like the first episode of it. I don't know if Trub's still around. I don't know if he ever finished it. I don't think I ever finished it though. It was all made in a game engine. I think that's fine. I mean, shit, chat. How many of y'all watched Red versus Blue? Being made in a game engine doesn't mean it's bad. Crap, it's better than some Hollywood stuff, right? He's watching smut with Burning. Damn it, Burning. We're talking about literal smut for you too. We're talking about Gundam. Both of you get off to that. We talked about it but never watched it. I thought we did watch like an episode of it. Watch Gundam 083 for romance drama. That's stupid. Listen, my only disappointment with the new Gundam is that every second of every episode isn't just a close-up of Char's face insulting people. I literally just want the new Gundam to just be exclusively about Char. I don't even care about the girls. I just want it to be about Char. Which is why, like, the second episode of the new Gundam series is so far still the best episode. I came here to laugh at you. God, I love Char. He's so good. But honestly, in that regard, I think it's like they've got a good idea for a show. It's like they've gone back and they're doing like a what if scenario. And if they start like an entire new timeline from this, they'll be able to milk it for infinite, crap until they decide they need yet another timeline. Damn, it's really good. Yeah, Andre was telling me the like Gundam Origins really awesome. I haven't watched that either. It shows how Char becomes Char. Okay. Shit, y'all are giving me too much stuff to watch. I'm sitting here thinking, it's like, man, I'm gonna have to like sit down and actually watch some of the stuff, which I'm gonna be honest with you guys, part of the reason I'm going harder in the lotto here is I want to take it easy on the weekend to some degree. Like, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna grind some, but I also want to like veg out and play some games. I've also got some chores I gotta do, so it'd be what it be. But so it's like I'm trying to get ahead of the farm so that I can just kind of coast the rest of the lotto. And did not fuck things up. Yep. Happy birthday to her, Deontay. This man Char is an absolute menace. Yes. Nobody typed go in chat, though. Virgin Teen Titans Go versus Chad Teen Titans. I saw they tried to like... Did they try to like redo the animation style for Teen Titans at one point? Because I saw somebody like tweet that out and I was like, oh god, that just looks way worse. Let's F go. Yep. Thundercats roar is amazing. I lied. How Starfire shrunk so much? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I ever really got to sit down and watch Teen Titans ever. I've seen a couple of episodes, but like it kind of wasn't a thing for me already at that point. I think I was too old. Tad larger up top. I see. It's Young Justice, yeah. I think a lot of people did. Comedy episodes and dark episodes to show I like my 2000s cartoons. Yeah. Hello, Katana. How you doing? Welcome to the weekend. I have no idea how many boxes in we are now. Like, thankfully, this comp is very, like, turn your brain off at this point. So it's like, I haven't gotten a drop in a long time, but it also just, like, it doesn't matter because this variation is just way easier. Want a Gargoyles remake? The problem is, like, that original style for that show was so good. Like, it fit it so perfectly. It fit that, like, gothic horror type of vibe. 101. So at 102, we'll be at 170? We can get there. Cat is actually at about the same box count as me. Are you sure? A man can dream, yes. Yeah, that's kind of the problem nowadays. It's sad because it's like everyone's like, oh man, I would really like to see this get brought back. I would really like to see this get remade. But then it's like you just remember how many like bad reiterations we have lately, and it's like you don't want it to happen in the end. Because like it's better to stay as it was, classic and nostalgic, than to get reimagined and warped and destroyed by like modern sensibilities. Like, I feel like we're at the point where out of every like remake, remaster type of situation, we're basically at the point where like for every 5 to 10 bad ones, you get one good one. I'd rather just go back and watch what I loved. Yeah. Sturgeon's Law in action. Wait, what's Sturgeon's Law? I can't say I've heard of that one. Three copies away from being maxed out? I'm still far off. 90% of everything is crap. I've never heard that before, but true. Like, it's not wrong. That's sad though at the same time. What a simple and eloquent rule. It's wild too, because it feels like, especially like back in like the 90s and the early 2000s, like everything was still super creative. And now it's like we've just gotten away from that creativity. What note am I doing? I'm doing the 90 plus. Just letting me go burr really fast. Nice beans. %90 of programming is copy paste. I mean, I think that one's actually probably pretty true as well. I have 2 MLBs and I just barely have 1. Can you find the second unit on your like support list? Find a way to fuck it up? Yeah. There we go. Have you seen the first episode of Lazarus, the new Adult Swim anime? Yeah, I've watched the first 3 or first 2 episodes. I'm up to date on Lazarus. It's okay. Like, it feels like Lazarus is trying too hard to be Cowboy Bebop. And it definitely isn't. And it definitely can't pull it off as well. And I know it's made by the same guy, but it's like I don't think it's like that the story is bad. It's just that he's making it a really like long dragged out thing that's not very action oriented. And I feel like it's just okay. Like it's kind of like losing me. It needs more space jazz, yeah. Like I feel like the pacing is just off as of right now. But it could be because it's trying to like build up so much of the world. More Outlaw Star clones? So like, I love Outlaw Star, but even Outlaw Star had its issues. It was not a perfect anime by any means. But at least like, the thing I really liked about Outlaw Star is that Outlaw Star did have a lot of soul. And it felt like at times it was like super sad and depressing, but it was still a like good like adventure all in all. I haven't watched Outlaw Star in years though. Like I've only ever watched it through like twice. This is gargoyles. Yeah. Also, it's funny because it's almost Phantom of the Opera's theme. Coyote Ragtime Show? Can't say I did. Twitch Turbo's getting annoying. Twitch Turbo's always been annoying. But yeah, I don't know. I love Outlaw Star. My really back to back. I when I played Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO, I had a smuggler character, which wasn't my main. My main was a Jedi Consular, but my smuggler character was named Gene Starwind. So like, I basically locked that name in. It was funny because I had people offering to buy it from me, and I was like, no. Do you have any opinions on the Highlander remake? I have doubts they can get someone as fantastic as Kurgan from the OG movie. Well, I mean, it's isn't it starring Henry Cavill, if memory serves? And it's being directed by the dude who did all the like directing and action for John Wick. So like, don't get me wrong, I have my doubts too, but like, it sounds like they at least have the chops to do it right. Did you have a caster gun? I mean, I could kick people in the balls and run away. Also a classic Gene Starwind move. But yeah, I think that's like, honest to God, like the guns and the ship-to-ship combat and the missiles in Outlaw Star are the coolest fucking things about it. Yeah, and Aisha Clan. Damn. I don't know why, but now that made me think of what's-her-face from Tenchi Muyo, and now I want to watch Tenchi Muyo again. Fuck! No, it's been so long since I watched it. No, not her. The space cop. Because there was Kione, and then God, what was her partner? Mihoshi, yeah. Yeah, so whenever someone brings up Aisha, for some reason, Aisha and Mihoshi are like very similar in my mind. Some servants I should upgrade for OC1. For OC1 specifically. Yeah, I mean, supports are kind of a given. Like, honestly, most of the fights in OC1 are not that difficult. But yeah, it was alter egos. I'm gonna be real with you. Get yourself a good Lancer. Both single target and AoE. The only person to be able to screw up Washu is Mihoshi, yeah. Will Draco work? Potentially. Just bring berserkers. The fight specifically I'm thinking of, you probably don't want to take a berserker. And the force support countered it. Yeah, alter egos weren't really that big of a concern, which is, I think they did that on purpose because I think they knew that, like, a lot of people didn't necessarily have a pretender. A lot of people might not have had, like, Kama or Musashi either. So I think they just were like, yeah, we just won't make it too big of a deal for the first one. Huh? Some lore as to why Mihoshi could always wander into Washu's lab and mess up her stuff. But yeah, I mean, she's basically a cat girl, right? like, and that's why I think, like, in my brain, Aisha and Mihoshi are very similar. They're like ditzy blonde sidekick characters that both are, like, to some degree, a cat. I doubt anyone gives a damn. It is what it is. Yeah, Ordeal Call 2 is way more Avenger specific than Ordeal Call 1 is Alter Ego specific, but even Ordeal Call 2, you can basically get through the whole thing without, like, actually having it. Is that what it is? God, it's been so long at this point, I don't even remember something like that. See, now you're making it so that I have to go back and watch Tenchi. So I need to watch Tenchi Muyo. Kimba, what was the one you were suggesting? I need to watch Unicorn. Need to watch Andor. Need to watch Outlaw Star. War in the Pocket. 0080, okay. Have you seen Eureka 7? Yes. Eureka 7's okay. It's not my favorite. It's good, but it's not my favorite. I think a lot of it was kind of just the art style for me. Okay, chat. I am going to wrap things up here for tonight. Ooh, I see a Mr. CZ on. He is doing some FGO. I'm going to send you guys his way. He's probably just waking up. And I'm sure he'll be grinding Lotto as well. So go give that man some love. He's a member of my stream team. If you haven't already, give him a follow. And again, we did get another short out today, and I have another video prepped. Probably gonna release that Monday. But yeah, again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Good luck with the farming. I'll probably stream Saturday with you guys at least. I'll have to see what it is. It may be like part FGO, part variety, or it may be all variety, just depending on how I feel. So just stay tuned. And again, I'll see you guys for the next one. Go give CZ my love. Good night.